right, what's going on, everybody? Huvvi 186 back again with the Overrated Podcast, episode 124-2. This is part two of our podcast from Monday. As you can see, obviously, you have Traditionalist here. What's going on?
All right, Traditionalist 101 is here. You know how I always say we have to hold on to tradition, ladies and gentlemen. That's the only way we have a healthy society, by the way. All right, we have another partner here.
Yeah. His from the Black Hood crew, Vortex Bane. What's going on, man?
Yep, coming back. I've changed my name, but kept the Black Hood crew because not gonna find a better name than that. But I am here, ready to go.
Oh, by the way, what's up with the name change? I'm very curious how you came up with the name and why.
The reason why I wanted to change the name was I just wanted to find something that kind of like rolled off the tongue, something that was more easier to convey. And the way I came up with it, you're not gonna believe this. I actually used artificial intelligence to come up with this name. You can see it right down the screen.
You use ChatGPT?
I do use ChatGPT to help me find this name. I gave it some parameters. I told it I don't want it to feature this. I don't want it to feature that. Keep it under a certain amount of characters. It gave me a list after list after list. I picked the best ones, broke it down from there, and then I got some outside opinions, and this is what I came up with.
You know, I thought you was going to say that's just me being a freaking fanboy, but I thought you was going to say you got the name from Bane, from Batman. You know, one of
That
his.
that ended up being a coincidence more than anything else.
Yeah. So I thought maybe for sure that you got Bane from that, but okay, I was wrong. I was completely off.
Yeah, it still works though.
Yeah. Vortex Bane. All right, cool.
Vortex Bane.
Okay, so you guys can hear me, right?
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah,
Okay.
I could hear you pretty well.
All right, so there's something weird going on with my fucking wired connection. So I'm gonna do wireless for right now.
This is
So
why I
we'll
told you.
see.
This is why I said don't start the podcast yet. I knew this was gonna happen, but go ahead, fix your issue.
No. We're good. We're good right now.
No, we're not. But go ahead. This is why.
No,
This
we're
is why I wanted to fix my camera before we started, and you should have fixed your connection before we started. But go ahead.
um. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to do this podcast is a little bit more traditional. Like it's still like we're getting our footing back because, like I said, we've been gone for a month. But what we're going to do is we have a couple of topics that we want to concentrate on. And before we do that, let's talk about before we get to the main topic, the main two topics. Let's address this because
You sound like muffled or like there's something. Stephen, are you hearing what I'm hearing? Like it seems like
Yeah, it sounds like he's scratching at his microphone like this or something.
yeah. It sounds like
Yeah.
you either rubbing on your microphone or like there's dust on it or something that's causing like a lot of static type of sound. I can't really.
Is it still going on?
Every time you talk.
We're gonna talk. Let me see. Is it still happening?
No.
Wait. Say something else. Keep talking.
Do you guys still hear it?
Yeah, okay, much better.
No. Much clearer.
Yeah, it worked. Good job.
All right. So before we get to the main two topics, let's do this real quick. Let me share. Let's go to. Okay. So right now, what you're looking at is the Evo 2024 lineup.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's happening again. I hear it again.
You hear it again? Okay. Hold on a second. Let me see. I'm gonna plug out and plug back in.
And while you're doing that, send me the link so I could share it with everybody else.
Yeah, I forgot to do that. Okay. Let me. I'll send you the link. Let me show you the lineup. You guys can talk about it here. Let me.
Yeah, see it right there.
Yeah, me and Sifri were having a good conversation about something. And Steve, you can add your input in a moment, but just talk about this lineup real quick. I'm trying to.
What were you guys talking about?
We were talking about a certain game that's not here and hasn't been here for a while. But first,
And
talk about the lineup. Talk about the lineup first before I send you the link. Let me while I send you the link.
I think the lineup's pretty solid so far. You have your Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, uh, Tekken, Guilty Gear, King of Fighters. Like you got some classics on there, but also some very solid lineup. Actually, wow. It's been a long time since I've seen some of these though.
the one that I'm very surprised to see on here, extremely surprised, is Street Fighter Third Strike.
Yeah,
Me,
that they'll like now what they're doing is adding a retro game into the
Mm,
lineup. So last year was Marvel vs. Capcom 3. This year is Third Strike.
that would
yeah,
make sense. Yeah.
yeah, I was very very surprised. Me when my brother showed me the link not too long ago. Me and him, was talking about it, and I felt like having Third Strike to me. I'm not saying it's a bad idea, but I remember somebody in this group. It wasn't me. It was a Seaframe. Now I should have asked you how you feel about it first, but I'm going to assume that you feel like this lineup is okay. But I remember someone in this group, it wasn't me, it wasn't Seaframe, complained that there was a tournament. I forgot which tournament it was. Had two Smash Brothers games on
Yeah, it was,
here. Who was that? It wasn't me. It
it
wasn't
was
Seaframe. It was you. It was you.
yeah.
That is absolutely was you. Now I'm not trying to start an argument, dispute, or anything. I'm not trying to quarrel. I'm just stating a fact
Okay.
that you complained about having two Smash games.
Mm-hmm.
On here, I am going to assume that you are thrilled that we have a Street Fighter 6 and a Street Fighter Third Strike, and you have no problems with it. You have no problems with it, do you? Have it no? Do you?
No problem whatsoever.
Okay. You know how to call that? You know there's a word for that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So explain yourself before I call you that name.
I like watching competitive Street Fighter. I don't like watching competitive Smash Brothers.
That's not an explanation.
That is an explanation. That's exactly what it is.
That's not an explanation. If you are
That's,
going
that's my explanation.
if you are going to complain that
That's
a
my
game,
explanation.
oh no, if you are going to complain that a gaming tournament has two of the same franchises, it's unacceptable because that's what happened with Smash.
What the- what
You should
did,
you
did
you
you
should
listen to what I just said?
you
Did you
should
listen to what I
have
just said?
you should have that same principle should apply
Did you
to
listen to what I
whether
just said?
whether if it was Street Fighter, I don't care if it's Tekken, I don't care if it's King of Fighters, I don't care if it's Guilty Gear. The fact that we have multiple of the same franchise in this gaming tournament, you should also complain about that.
Did you hear what I just said?
Yeah, that's not a reason.
That is a reason. That's my reason.
No, that's not a reason.
That's my reason.
Okay,
I can't help it if you don't like it.
okay. Let's before we move on, I need to ask Seafring over here. So I'll ask you the question, Seafring,
Mhm.
before this dude start interrupting me. If there's a gaming tournament that features different types of games, and your complaint is, oh, why is this gaming tournament having two multiple franchises in one tournament? That shouldn't happen. Now, if you are going to complain that a gaming tournament has two franchises, shouldn't you also complain that it has even if it's a franchise that you like? If your stance is it should not have two franchises, it should only have one, shouldn't that apply to even games that you like?
I can see where he's coming from because to him, as someone who does not enjoy watching competitive Smash, seeing the same franchise, even though if it's two completely different titles in the same franchise, on the lineup at Evo, does not appeal to him. But when I say him, I mean him specifically. So he can say, as an individual, I, as Huvvi, do not enjoy this, which is Smash Brothers being twice on there, whether it's Ultimate and Melee or Ultimate and Wii or Wii U, it doesn't matter. I understand where you're coming from as well. But ultimately, it is a personal preference for him to say two Smash Brothers on the same title card at Evo. Do not like that. Street Fighter twice on an Evo fight card. I'm okay with that. That's perfectly fine from an individual opinion. Now, if he was to say this is a fact, he'd be wrong.
Wait. Say that last part. Say that last part.
If he was to say that this was a fact that having two Smash is wrong, but having two Street Fighters is correct, then he would be wrong because he's
that's
talking
what I'm
about
talking
as a personal preference.
That's what I'm talking. That's what I'm attacking. Because if your stance is going to be you shouldn't have two franchises and in a tournament, that should apply for all games, whether if you like the game or not. It should apply for all.
That wasn't my point.
It should apply.
That wasn't his point, though. He's saying that he doesn't like competitive Smash.
I got to say for you because first off, shout out to Malta. How you doing, bro? Yeah, is it hypocrisy? No. Is it who cares? Sure, absolutely. I'm gonna give you a star for that comment. Now, Ruben, I'm gonna do you a favor. I'm gonna repeat what my point is. I don't like watching competitive Smash. That's why when you have two Smash games on the list, why should I be happy about that if I don't like watching them play Smash Brothers competitively? I like Street Fighter 6. I like Third Strike. I like watching pros play the game competitively. So why would I have a problem with two Street Fighter games on the list?
Like I said, that's not what you said. When we were arguing on WhatsApp, this was a long time ago, so it's whatever. When we was arguing on Smash Brothers, I said to you, well, Street Fighter, there were two. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that, Ruben. You're absolutely right.
We'll cover that. We'll cover that later.
We'll get into it.
Yeah. So my position was what you said was that you didn't specifically attack Smash. You just said two multiple franchise shouldn't be in the tournament. That's what you said. And then when I called you out on it, wait a minute, you didn't complain when they has two Street Fighter games. Oh yeah, I like Street Fighter, but that wasn't the point. That's hypocrisy. But it is what it is. Like Malta said, who cares? Whatever. I just wanted to call you on it. That's all.
Yeah, whatever. Okay, where was I? Okay, so this list right here. Let me do my thing right here. Obviously, all of these are not really that surprising. Let me get to 2013 list. Let me get
kind of blurry. I wish I could. I don't know what game that is over there.
You're talking about the one at the upper right hand corner because I can't make out any of that.
Yeah, I don't know
what.
That game.
That is. I think that is.
No, that Blaze Blue.
Melty Blood. Yeah, that's Melty Blood.
Never heard of that.
Yeah, it's an anime fighter.
I think
similar to Guilty Gear.
Yeah, I would say so.
I think right. Do me a favor. Can you show a quick gameplay of that? Because I think I've seen it before. I think I'm getting it mixed up with two different games. Can you It doesn't have to be a full link. Just real quick of how the game looks like.
Okay. Even a still image would work.
Yeah. If you don't want to put in the work of going on YouTube, I guess a still image will work. Because this thing, I can't see at all. Like, what website is this? IGN?
Hold on. Let me go to Steam. I'll just show you what they should have a game overview on here.
Okay. Because I'm trying to remember if
Melty blood type Lumina.
Yeah.
Melty
Yeah.
Blood. Oh, okay. Here's some gameplay. Okay. Um, you guys said this was an anime. Have any of you watched the anime?
No. This is is this the anime?
Well, is
Uh,
it based on an anime? Let's
Yeah,
see.
is it
This is
based
the
on that?
latest addition to the series of 2D fighting games based on Type Moon's visual novel. So it's a comic. Hold on. Give me a moment. I'll be right back.
okay.
Go
I thought
ahead.
that was me. I think
Yeah,
that's. I think
I
that.
thought that was the game. I thought that was the game.
No, it is the game. No, this is the game.
Oh, it is the game. Okay, that was the sound. That was the
Yeah.
game.
Oh no. I thought that noise was the game. Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah.
did too.
Holy crap! That. Oh wow.
No,
Woo!
no, no. You know what? No, I think I might messed up. I messed up.
What
I
happened?
messed up. That's not multi blood's not there. That's not it. That's not the game.
No,
The game is Grand. The game is Grand Blue Fantasy.
but just to say just to give a quick opinion, that looked impressive. that looked pretty impressive.
You know that Siegfried. I'm not Siegfried. James and Soul. That's the game that they play.
Yeah, I
They
thought it was
play
I thought it was Grand Blue that they have always played, but I think you're right.
It could be. No, I'm sure they play Grand Blue Fantasy as well. But yeah, this is the game that is on Evo. Grand Blue Fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
This is the game.
Okay, this one. Okay.
Yeah, this is the game.
Okay, now, yes. If I remember correctly, a lot of people claim that Grand Blue is like very similar to Guilty Gear. I think it's that game, or is it not?
I mean, visually it's the same. It's similar. Yeah,
Okay.
visually similar. Like I said, I don't know about the gameplay mechanics, but yeah, this is the game that is at Evo.
Okay.
So the lineup, and let me go back to the lineup.
Mhm.
It is blurry. I apologize for it. It is blurry, but there really wasn't much I can do. Where's it at?
I'm back.
So
Sorry about
it is.
Oh,
no,
you're
it's
good.
all
You're
right,
good.
So it is Street Fighter 6, Tekken 8, Guilty Gear Strive, Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, Under Night, Mortal Kombat 1, KOF 15, and Third Strike, which is the throwback game. So, and this as a comparison, let's go to last year's. This was last year's Street Fighter 6, Guilty Gear Strive, Dragon Ball Z Fighters, which is no longer there,
Yeah.
Tekken 7, which you replaced that with Tekken 8, KOF 15, Melty Blood, which is not there,
The one that we just saw. Okay. Yeah. Yes.
MK 12, replaced that with MK1, and Marvel, you replaced that with Third Strike. So
Wow.
technically, I would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 changes from last year.
Wow.
5 out of 8 changes. That's big.
That 5 out of like 8 out of 8 games. That's crazy to me. I am shocked. I'm shocked. Go back to the your other screen.
Mm-hmm. I mean the other list.
Yeah, down from last year. Yeah, dude, I am shocked that they removed Dragon Ball Fighter Z. Very surprised. As we all know, I don't know how the anime is still relevant till this day with all the crazy new transformations that they added and all the complaints I've heard of. Oh, the story is not really that great. Oh, they brought Frieza back, blah blah blah, whatever. But to me, with the popularity of Dragon Ball Z and how great the game is, I mean, I don't care what anybody says. I still think Dragon Ball Fighter Z is still a great game. I am shocked that they removed it. But you say you're not. Why?
Because let me go back to the list. One, the game's old. Like the game is fairly old, so I'm not shocked that it got removed.
I
Two,
mean,
you have how many games here? You have Street Fighter 6,
yeah.
Tekken 8 new game, MK1 new game. KOF is still strong. I'm actually not that surprised because the game's old. The game's old, so it was going to get replaced sooner or later.
But Grand Blue is pretty old too, wouldn't you say?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know when the game came out.
Okay.
I never I don't play those type of anime fighters. I know
You know,
Ruben does.
yeah, I'm actually surprised that you don't, because I know you fighting games is like one of your favorite. Yeah, like of all games, I know fighting games is one of your favorites. So I'm actually surprised you're not invested in other new different type of fighting games that you might get into. Go ahead.
To me, it depends on the characters. If I like the characters, if something has to grab me to give the game a try. Like I gave Guilty Gear, I think it was Xrd, a try because it was really one of the few PlayStation 4 games that came out
Yeah.
when I got the PS4, and it visually looked amazing. So I gave it a try and I liked it. I have Strive, and truth be told, I don't hate Strive, but I don't really play it.
Why?
So
What happened?
no, it didn't come out with enough content at launch. It didn't come out with enough content at launch.
Okay.
So I do play some. I'll play some Blaze Blue from time to time. It is those real anime fighters. It's just not. I'm just not into it. It's not that they're bad games. It's just not
Yeah.
my thing. All right.
Okay.
So
And Stephen, what about you? Like, you're not really into fighting games?
It's not that I'm not a fan of fighting games. I do enjoy them every so often, but not in a more competitive sense. Like I'll play, like okay, yeah, just to try it out, see how it is. But like to actually go into it and learn the game, learn the mechanics, understand it, and
Mhm.
and play to the level that you guys or even some of the professionals would. No, I'm not there, and I don't see myself there. Like I have no intention of getting to that point. Like I'll enjoy them as a more casual thing, but not really as okay, I'm going to dive down and play this game to death and learn it so that I can then kick the crap out of other people. Not really my thing.
Okay, so pretty much Smash Brothers is the only game you play competitively. I would assume.
Not even that. I play it. I even play that casually, but I'll play that more than I would some of the other games you see on this list here. Simply because with Smash, yeah, I think he dropped the microphone.
Yeah, no, your mic is going haywire right now. But go ahead, Stephen.
Yeah. So the same that I wouldn't play these games competitively. I don't play Smash Brothers competitively, but I do enjoy playing it more than I would say Street Fighter or Tekken because you can sit down and anybody can sit down and play Smash Brothers and
Yes,
have a fun time. With
correct.
some of these games, you get an amateur to sit down or someone who's never played a fighting game before and like very quickly they'll reach a point where they're like, okay, I'm not enjoying myself. Where
Mm,
Smash, you can really enjoy yourself even when you're losing because there's so many fun aspects and so many crazy additions to the game outside of the fighting aspect.
yeah, yeah. I could definitely, with my own experience, when I first tried, Smash Brothers for the 64. I,
Hmm.
I I was addicted to that game. My friend Daniel invited me over to his house. Man, we were playing that game for hours, and I'm telling you, hours. We were playing that game for hours. Amazing time I had with that game, and that happened with every single Smash Brothers game I ever bought. As soon as I played, I popped it in and played it. I had an amazing time with it, even now. So
every
100%
time.
yes.
Yeah, no, it's the magic of Smash Brothers. Like it brings people together because ultimately it's a fighting game with party game aspects to it. It's kind of like, your mix of, like imagine if you took a game like Street Fighter or Tekken, but you gave it like Mario Party rules. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? That's Smash Brothers. There's the fighting aspect, but you have extra things in there that don't make it such a heavy fighter, like your Street Fighters and your Tekkens, your Guilty Gears.
Yeah, I agree.
Now,
Definitely.
I will say this. Ruben mentioned Persona Arena.
Hmm.
Now, I remember playing a Persona fighting game. I think it was called Persona Arena Max or something like that. That game's fantastic. That's a great fighting game. And I don't give a shit about Persona, but
Right.
that's a great fighting game. Really, it's an excellent fighting game. Now what me and Siegfried were talking about before you came in is how Nintendo shits on their Smash Brothers community. Now we talked about this on the podcast, Steve. But like you look at this list of games, and every year I always wonder why Nintendo doesn't embrace their fighting game community.
Hmm.
It never. I look at the support that Capcom gave to Street Fighter, Namco has given to Tekken. Um, we'll talk about Mortal Kombat in a second. I know Ruben's gonna disagree with me with what I have to say about them, but you look at all these other creators, they support their fighting game community, and Nintendo's the only one that doesn't.
Hmm.
And it's not like the game's not obviously the game's popular. Like
Right.
before they stopped showing up, it was always their game. Like you said, they always had like one or two games at the main stage. You know
Yes.
what I'm saying? And every year when the Evo lineup comes up, is another year that Nintendo that I'm reminded how much Nintendo shits on their fighting game community, and it's sad because they have like look I don't have to like the game to understand. Well, I wouldn't say not. I don't have to like the community to not understand the popularity that game garners, and
Hmm.
it seems to me that Nintendo simply does not care, and
Yeah.
it makes no sense to me.
I mean, it honestly doesn't. I mean, you have, the same way I described it before, you have a fighting game that can have party game mechanics attached to it. Doesn't have to be like that. You can use it as a competitive fighter like you would these guys here. But ultimately, I think it's Nintendo doesn't want the game to be portrayed in that way. Like it doesn't want to be portrayed on the along the same lines as your Street Fighters, your Tekkens, your Guilty Gear, your Mortal Kombat's. They don't want to associate with that, and that's why they're trying to essentially monopolize their control over Smash Brothers by having it not be featured here in Evo.
Well, even with that, Nintendo should completely cut their losses because that's not going to work. Not putting it on Evo is not going to change the the Smash Brothers community's mindset. We're still going to play the Smash Brothers game as competitive as possible, the way
Hmm.
we see fit. Remo-
No,
re-
I
they,
completely agree.
they're wasting their time. They're wasting their time. They're wasting effort into it. All this is would have done is just help Nintendo in the long run. Because again, that community is not going anywhere just because you removed it from Evo.
Absolutely. The scene is still there. The people are still there. The players are still there. The community is still there. So whether Nintendo likes it or not, they're here. They're here. They're playing. They're playing casually. They're playing professionally. They're playing at a competitive level, and you're seeing amazing talent in this game with if you actually look at the mechanics of a Smash Brothers fighter versus some of these other games, you can see that the combat system is very, very different compared to your more traditional fighters like your Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. So to
Yes.
have people play at a level that you see in some of these videos, I mean, it's a no-brainer why it should be always on an Evo lineup. But at the same time, what sets it apart from other fighters is what also, again, makes it unique to a point where Nintendo can say, you know what, we don't want to be associated with these guys by having the game appear alongside Mortal Kombat.
Ruben says it here. He says that it seems like Nintendo seems to want a Mario Party over a competitive combat system.
Yeah.
And they have what you have, embrace it.
Exactly.
But they, for some reason, they just never gravitated to that community. I don't get it. But
I think, and the other thing I wanted to add, additionally, it's if Nintendo truly wanted to, make a if they hate the fact that we want to play a particular game competitively, well then stop making the game then. If you really despise the gaming community that much, well then stop making the game. If you really despise your own fan base, stop making the game. But they're not going to do that because the money's there. So you can't.
They know they have the support.
Yeah, you can't have it both ways. You just can't. You have to accept the fact that we have the option to play it as a casual, fun, party, family type of game, and we have another option, and we can manipulate it the way we want by removing all the items, by playing just one versus one if we want to. We have the option to play it either way we want. You should be happy that you are catering to both fan bases, whether if it's the casual market or the competitive market, the hardcore audience.
it
Fact that
seems to me.
Go ahead.
No, my bad. No. You can go. My bad.
Yeah, the fact that there's actual games out there that is attracting both people, and not a lot of games could do that. You know what I'm saying? Like not a lot of games could do that. And some rated aims were able to accomplish that, like Grand Theft Auto, Call of Duty. But when it comes to Smash Brothers, the fact that you are able to attract casual audiences, kids, young adults, grown ups, elderly people, and people who like to play the game, competitively, that is something you should absolutely embrace. That is like the ultimate goal for gaming as a whole. You are attracting everybody, and yet you don't want that. Yeah, get on my face with that garbage.
Well, I mean, like, here's a perfect example. Look at this lineup of games: your Street Fighter, Tekken 8, Guilty Gear, Third Strike, King of Fighters, Mortal Kombat. How many of those games can you sit down and say, yeah, I play Street Fighter casually? I play Mortal Kombat casually, just for the hell of it, Most people that purchase these games, they're doing it and playing it with the intent, like, I'm going to get good, I'm going to play online, I'm going to kick some ass.
The game that of all those games, the game that sells the most here is MK1.
Mm-hmm.
MK in general always sells the best out of these games here.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll explain that in a second. The last thing I'll say about Nintendo and the Smash Brothers, Sakuraba, to me, I think he wants to embrace the community.
Okay.
I don't think Nintendo doesn't. Nintendo in general doesn't. Yeah. And I think so. Like, cause look, when they make a Smash Bros. Game, they invite the pro players. They do. They invite them to play the game, test the game out, and all the other stuff. When it comes to listening to feedback, they listen. At least Sakuraba listens. But when it comes to actually putting putting money and effort into supporting the Smash community, they failed miserably. they failed miserably. So I mean, I'll give each one of you guys the last word before I move on to Mortal Kombat.
What's going on, Joshua? What's up, buddy? You could go first. I'm Seafree.
All right, no problem. So yeah, like ultimately, it's a great looking lineup. I don't see anything really wrong with it outside of Smash not being there, but unfortunately, that is a decision that is way above our pay grades, and we got to live with it.
No, okay. The last thing I want to say, like, it's a very good lineup. The only thing I'm still shocked that Dragon Ball Z is not there, and Third Strike being there. Yeah, that's a very big surprise in my book. I would wish that Dragon Ball Z would be back, and I also kind of miss Injustice. I'm not gonna lie to you. I do like watching Injustice tournament. I know Huvvi, you don't really care for it. Seafree, I'm not really sure how you feel about Injustice, but I kind of wish that Injustice would be back. But
I mean, Justice is there. What are you talking about?
Injustice?
Mm-hmm.
I don't see it. Where?
It's right there. It's right below Tekken.
That's Mortal Kombat.
Huh. You could have fooled me.
That's Mortal Kombat.
So,
You
so
even
let me. You want me to explain?
go ahead.
Now, here's the thing. Now, we talked about at the end of Monday's show. We talked about how great Tekken 8 is, right? And agreed, Tekken 8 is that game is fantastic. I played some today.
Mm-hmm.
They did an awesome job with this game.
Yes.
And I said that of all the new, like, again, we have the big. Well, when it comes to this list right here, right? You have the big three fighting games. You have Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, and Tekken. Those are the ones that are the hierarchy in fighting games. In this space, obviously Smash Brothers is there as well. But I'm talking about the ones that are in Evo, right? Those are the top three, right? And of the top three, I said Tekken's number one, Street Fighter 6 is number two, and all the way down there is Mortal Kombat 1. Now, all right. So Ruben, let me explain to you why. Because I watched a ton of videos.
Thank you, Ruben. Thank you, Ruben. Thank you.
I watched a ton of videos on the community, the MK community, shitting on this game. And now again, I don't agree with everything they say because I do like more at its core. I do like Mortal Kombat 1. I do. However, you can't tell me that this game is nothing more than just Injustice 3 with an MK skin. This is exactly what this game is.
What?
That you're damn right. You heard me correctly. You go to the screen to the versus screen where they do the clash. Where do you think they got that from?
The whole clashing thing when they like going at each other.
Where they get that from?
Yeah, I would say Injustice, but I think Dragon Ball Z does that also.
Okay,
but go ahead. Look,
now to me, and this is something that Ruben's not going to agree with me on. The most useless aspect of this game for me, is the cameos. To me, for me, they're a colossal waste of my time. They're a colossal waste of my time. They're not needed. They're not needed. All it is just wasted space. And the thing is that those in Injustice 3, which this game was originally supposed to be, right? Those cameos were supposed to be sidekicks. Because every hero, every villain has a sidekick.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what the cameos ended up being for Mortal Kombat. And to me, you could have squeezed out a couple more characters that you could have added into this game instead of making them cameo characters. And for me personally, I don't like the system. The game is good enough as it was without them. The game can in the story mode, you do matches where you're playing without the cameos, and it works just fine. It works just fine without them.
Okay.
And then you also add the fact that they have no stage fatalities, right? They have no interactive backgrounds, interactive backgrounds like they did in the previous couple games.
Right.
And then I did the story mode, and the story mode was okay until a certain part, and I'm not going to spoil it. And I'm like, whoa, what is this? What is this? And again, I don't mind them rebooting. I don't mind rebooting the franchise. I was excited that they rebooted the franchise. But truth be told, every version that they recreated in MK is a lesser version from their former selves. Every character is a lesser version of their former selves. And then you add into the online, which is not good. You add into the fact that they got rid of the crypt to do the shrine thing and I don't make no money playing the game. Make no money playing the game the way that I play it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I play Invasion. Invasion's okay, but I don't get no money doing that. Remember, going in the shrine, it's 1,000, was it coins or whatever? That's 1,000 coins that if you want to unlock something. And you're taking a chance. You're not picking what you want to pick. At least in the crypt, there's a mode where you can walk around the crypt and you can open up chests. At least there's something interactive there. All you do in with the shrine, you go in the shrine, you press a button, the dragon breathes fire, and you get a reward. And most of the time you get dog shit. You don't get. I don't get nothing. I can't use fucking artwork for something. I don't want to shit on artwork, but I can't use artwork for nothing. You know what I'm saying? I spend 1,000 of the coins that I have to unlock artwork. Are you serious? Not a fatality, not extra gear. I spent $1,000 on fucking artwork.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To me, and I see Rubens. He's saying be patient, and I'll be patient with the game. That's fine. But a lot of your competitive players are not going to do that.
I'll be right back.
Yeah.
All right, no problem.
A lot of your competitive players are not going to do that. And to me, I think when you have Street Fighter the way it came out, right, and Tekken the way that it came out, in comparison, MK1 is a disappointment. It's a massive disappointment. Again, I can excuse the cameo system, even though I don't like it. At least they tried something new. I can deal with that.
Okay.
But it's the fact that you don't get jack shit for playing the game. You get rid of the crypt, you add the shrine. You don't give us that much. We're not getting our bang for our buck from NetherRealm. That was not the case. When it came to MK, I would say MK10, even though I didn't like MK10. But you got a lot of stuff with MK10. You got a lot of content with MK10, and you got a lot of content with MK9.
Oh, and MK9, yes.
You know what I'm saying? And with what they doing now, dude, it's not good, bro. It's not good enough, man. It's not good enough. And again, I don't know if I think this is more WB's issue, because WB I don't know what they're doing with that with their whole franchise. I have no idea what they're doing with their franchises. Now, mind you, they're in charge of the whole DC universe thing.
Yeah,
and that was a disaster. Suicide Squad came out a couple days ago. That's a disaster.
well, I can't wait to do with that. We're gonna talk about that on Monday. We
Okay.
we gonna we gonna talk about that stuff on Monday because I have a ton to say about that game. But for the sake of time, we can't add on here. We can't add on it here. But bro, I have so much to say about that game.
Yeah. But that's a disaster. And right now, even though I like the gameplay of it, I like the gameplay. I want to make that very clear. Even though I don't like the cameo system, I like the gameplay of Mortal Kombat 1. But right now, it's a disaster. Right now, it's a disaster.
It's a disaster.
Yeah, and trust me, you don't have people making videos shitting on this game for no reason. People just don't. I know there's always going to be a group of haters for this game or that game, but the reception for Street Fighter 6 for the most part was positive. The reaction so far, the reaction so far for Tekken 8 has been positive, very positive. I can't say the same thing for MK1. I can't say the same thing for MK1. And I'm telling you this as someone who actually likes the fighting mechanics in the game. I do like the fighting mechanics in the game.
Yeah.
But it compared to the other two, it don't hold up. Frankly, it doesn't hold up, man.
Would you the question I wanted to ask you, well, since Seafring is gone, was there a game that you're surprised that's not there, or a game that you prefer to be on this list?
What, as far as Evo?
Yeah.
No, it was gonna be on the list. Like, it's fine because I don't watch MK competitively anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Okay, so overall, you okay? With this list overall?
Yeah, I'm fine with the list.
Okay. Well, since Seafring is still not back yet, to kill some time, I'm not gonna go in depth, about this, but I want to show you this, real quick.
While you do that, let me read some comments from Ruben. He said that Huvvi, damn well Injustice, and then he said that that was Huvvi's take. I waited a month for him to say MK1 is Injustice 3. All right, and then the critical drop, shout out to you, bro. How you doing? He said that Third Strike being in Evo because it's been 25 years since it came out, and it's been 20 years since the Daigo versus Wong moment. And yeah, they played that moment in the promotion for the game for the game being for Evo announcement. They played into that moment. So
yeah, they did. Yeah.
But what are you showing here? CEO?
Yeah, so since Seafring is out, it'll I guess I could kill a little bit of time before he gets back. So once again, so everyone will know, and I'm telling you, Huvvi 186, that I am planning on going back to CEO again. Since we're talking about Evo, CEO is going to be taking place a month before Evo does. I am. Oh, you're back. You're back. Well, since you're back, I'll just make this really quick. I went to CEO last year, and I had a fabulous time. I truly hope that Huvvi 186 will come. Seafring, I don't think this is like really more your thing, but it would be cool if you could come also.
I'll definitely try. I'll try to make it.
Yeah, if you could make it, that would be awesome, and then we could all share a hotel together, and hopefully, Soul say he's gonna be coming as well, and I think Yoshi might come, but with his thing with with the I'm not gonna say it, but having what I'm talking about when it comes to his gaming hobbies. We'll see if he's able to come. But real quick, these are all the games that's gonna be in CEO. We have Tekken 8, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter 6, Grams Blue, like you mentioned.
The standards.
What happened?
Yeah, these it's pretty much standard so far, same as Evo. But then you start getting into your Guilty Gear down here.
Yep.
I already see two of them.
And here,
Ooh,
this is the one that Huvvi complains about.
Smash
That
Brothers Ultimate and Melee.
we have two, not one, two Smash Brothers games that will be.
And they got Mario Kart.
Why the hell is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe there?
Oh snap! They got Mario Kart on here.
I mean,
Now,
I mean that can be played competitively for sure, but I mean Mario Kart 8 amongst all these fighting games, that's
Wow.
out of place as fuck.
Yeah.
yeah, it may be, but no, I don't hate it. I
No,
don't hate it.
I don't either. I mean, you can definitely enjoy yourself and play competitively in Mario Kart 8. That's 100% a thing that can be done. I just think that you have like what is essentially a giant list of fighting games, and then
Yeah.
like randomly throw it in there. It's like, is that Mario Kart? Like, what the hell? Like, you have to do a double take. Like, did I just see what I just saw?
Yeah, it's a huge surprise, and it does feel like it's out of place because I mean we're talking about fighting games here. This game here, I can't. I can't
Let me
remember.
push back. That's under night. But let me push back on that a little bit. I actually think it's a great idea.
What?
And I actually think it's a great idea.
For
Yeah,
Mario Kart.
yeah, yeah. And I think more games should do this. I think the one thing that I've noticed, right, is I noticed that games that we grew up with that were super popular are not that popular anymore. Right? Like you look at like racing games in general. Like games like that are not as popular as they used to be. And I actually think putting a competitive spin on it can help. Now, obviously, Mario Kart don't need it because Mario Kart sells millions and millions of copies. But I look at it. I look at a game like Rocket League, right? They do competitive Rocket League. They do esports Rocket League.
Yeah, they do.
But how? Yeah, but why would we not be able to see a Rocket League tournament, a random tournament at CEO or Evo? Why not? I think they're still competitive. Like the only time I had fun playing Mario Kart 8 is playing it online. It's competitive. It's fun.
Okay.
Having like as long as you're competing, there should be an audience for that. And I think more games should do it.
Why not?
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, personally, like I didn't think it would be like a good break from the constant, face smashing of fighting games that you're sitting there playing. You're watching people play Mortal Kombat and Tekken and Guilty Gear, Smash Brothers even, and then randomly on one stage you're like, is that fucking Mario Kart? I'm gonna go check that out. And then you go over and you're sitting there watching people essentially fucking, drift and smash each other with shells playing Mario Kart 8 Deluxe while every other screen has a fighting game on it. Like, I think that would be a nice break from the monotony of the fist throwing or the throwing of hands.
Yeah. So okay, but then if that's the case, this is mainly going to return to like an esports event instead of a fighting tournament. You might as well introduce Rocket League. You might as well introduce all these other mobile games in there as well. Then
why would that be a bad thing?
Obviously, CEO is known for fighting, but you can add a crazy, side game in there as well.
Yeah, exactly. Like, just like with Evo does, and they have their throwback game. Well, CEO would have their it's not a fighting game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's just a random game that has nothing to do with fighting, like your Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, it's so far removed from the standard that it has people questioning, like, why is this here, and why am I strangely intrigued to see it?
And I'll tell you this right now. If I was there, I actually would enter a Mario Kart tournament. Why?
Why not?
Because I don't need to reframe that or to kick your ass in racing. I don't need to learn none of that. All I gotta do is outsmart you and I'm good.
That's it.
It don't take much studying to beat you in a racing game. Trust me.
Okay. So are you gonna put your money where your mouth is and join this year?
I will. I'm looking to go to CEO this year.
Okay.
Now, I like if they have open slots, if they're like if this is not like an official tournament where you have to qualify, then I don't mind joining. I actually don't mind joining.
Wow. Okay.
But
Okay.
I don't want to waste my time qualifying for anything. I just want to join,
And
and
play.
yeah, and play.
Okay. Okay. All right. I guess that's fair enough. Fair enough.
Right. Critical Job said they probably hoping for real life fights for Mario Kart.
Could you imagine?
Oh
Mo-
my gosh.
Malta, he said this is one of the worst Mario Karts, and he prefers Crash Team Racing over Mario Kart.
You know something? I love Crash Team Racing. I absolutely love. I just wish that we actually had more of it. Like we don't really have, and I'm pretty sure you all have noticed, we don't really have that many party. I guess you could call it party racing games anymore.
Yeah.
All we've been having is just Mario Kart, a little bit of Crash Team Racing, and the Sonic Racing. That's all we really have as far as because like
Can I say this?
go ahead.
Crash Team Racing is not that good.
Yes, it is. What are you talking about, man?
Uh,
Yes, it is. Are you talking about the newer one, or are you talking about the old the PS1
both,
version?
both.
They're both great games. They're both great games. I love both of them. I don't know what you're talking about, bro. I love both. But like I was saying, we really don't have those type of games anymore. Like the options that we used to have back then, and we've said this many times before with other franchises, but the options that we used to have back then is like not existent. Like I remember games like Speed Punks. Um I think there was like an arcade, like a version of a NASCAR racing game. Like bro, all of those things went away, and I think it's pretty sad. And but look, I'm happy we have Mario Kart 8, but I kind of do wish we had more options, which is why I'm grateful we still have Sonic and Crash on there also. But anyway, to finish up, we have more. We have Blaze Blue. We have Dragon Ball Z, which is I'm glad it's on here because I think Dragon Ball Z is an excellent fighting game. Killer Instinct, which is something that Havino always disliked, and I think he still dislikes it now.
No, I played the only Killer Instinct I like is the first one.
Yeah, yeah. Ultimate Marvel's Capcom 3, and we have
Brawlhalla, really?
why is this on here?
What do you mean why? The game is very popular.
Hmm, okay, and we have a couple other retro games.
There's Third Strike.
Yeah, and look, two Street Fighter games on here, and we have Capcom vs SNK 2. I am definitely going to keep my eye on this because man, holy cow, it was crazy watching people using A Groove on Capcom vs SNK 2. Man, that was just nuts. This is going to be an excellent lineup. I can't wait to watch this. And we have all these other the dance crap, which I don't care about. I'm not even going to bother naming them. And that's pretty much it. So I'm looking forward for CEO. For those of you who are in the chat, yeah, I would love if you could join me, my brother, and Soul, and maybe Huvvi. Hopefully Huvvi will come, and I will do my very best to convince Seaframe to join us because I'm telling you right now, you will have the time of your life going on here. I mean, you're just surrounded by games. You're surrounded by anime conventions, like there's just a ton of stuff to do. Like it's not just with gaming. Like there's like people are dressing up. It almost feels like you're in not only you're in a tournament, but it feels like you're also in an anime convention. Like I took videos of it, when I was and I posted on Twitter. Not gonna go back on it now because we spent too much time on this first topic. But I do hope one day we all could come and just celebrate and enjoy our time together as hardcore gamers. Because man, this I had a blast, and I am most definitely gonna go there again this year. Yes, I will.
All right.
All right. So Ruben said that might as well open a variety of games.
I agree. Yeah, you
Wait,
might. Yeah,
wait,
yeah, yeah. You might as well implement and put Rocket League on there if all you're gonna do is just put fighting games on there and just make it another esports game tournament. That's it.
CTR makes 8 look hella mid.
Whoa.
I don't know. I didn't like Crash Team Racing.
What was the problem? Why you didn't like it?
I don't like a game that forces you to drift in order to gain speed. I don't like that.
Mario Kart does that.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it in that game either. It's part of the reason why I don't. That's part of the reason why I got rid of Mario Kart 8. I got bored of it.
No, I think you got rid of it just because you want to get your hands on Tekken. That's why.
That too. But if the game was good, I would not have gotten rid of it. I like the variety of CEO over Evo.
Well,
I like the fact that CEO is located in my state.
Yes.
Evo, which is Vegas.
Yes.
But
yes.
the goal someday is to go to Evo. That's definitely the goal someday. I just gotta make more money.
Well, for me, I want to go to Evo, and I have already because I knew to go to multiple gaming tournaments, and because I also want to go to multiple anime conventions too. So I was saving money last year. Like I've been saving money since last year because I want to go to each and every one of these events. I mean, because man, like I'm sick and tired of missing events that I want to go to. So I just planned ahead and I just started saving money last year, like late last year, and I'm continuing to save now because I want to go to Evo also. So that's what you pretty much got to do, man. Just save up, be disciplined. But anyway, this is not about finances. This is about gaming, and and I'm definitely going to go.
All right, Steve, start with the Ubisoft topic. I'll be right back.
Okay, so while Huvvi is leaving, he'll be back really soon. C Frank, any way I could convince you to go to CEO?
We'll see. It's held where?
It's actually in not Orlando. What's Daytona?
Okay, so further east.
Yes.
Okay. That actually wouldn't be too bad. I'm actually going to be living sometime soon. Once everything at my house is set up, I'm going to be living in an area south. Like, do you know where Lakeland is?
Oh, Lakeland is way up there.
Okay, so Lakeland is between Tampa and Orlando.
Yeah.
I'm going to be living south of Lakeland, like not even 30 minutes from Lakeland, going south. So my ability to get to CEO increases once I move.
Oh wow!
So I might actually be able to go this year.
Okay.
And join you guys there.
So you're actually going to be moving this year up there?
Yeah. Oh no, sometime soon, like very soon.
Oh, that's right, because of your new job. Your
Yeah, exactly. So once that pans out, like believe me, I will be moving to that area, and I'll be much.
Awesome. Good stuff, man.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff. All right, so yeah, if you could join us in CEO, that'll be great. We could
Absolutely.
all money together, and yeah, it's just gonna be an awesome time. Feels really good to just to like forget all your problems and just enjoy gaming with the gaming community. Like it's just fabulous, man. But anyway, we will now be going. Oh yeah, Critical Drop says CEO will be. And by the way, what's going on, bro? CEO will be in Orlando 2025, which is regardless of where it is. Yeah, even closer. But regardless of where it is, as long as it's in Florida, I'm happy.
As long as it stays in Florida.
Yeah, as long as it stays in Florida, I am happy. So we don't have to buy any plane tickets. We could just go for a nice joyride and just enjoy. But yeah, I'm glad that it's gonna be in 2025. But now on to some bad news when it comes to gaming news. It's time for some bad news today, ladies and gentlemen. And what am I talking about here? What I'm talking about is I've been having this issue with the gaming industry since last gen. Seafring, I've been complaining about this, in the Discord,
Of course.
and I predicted that something like this would have happened years ago, and I'm pretty sure you did too.
Mhm.
And I am once again unhappy with the developers, the publishers, all the statements that they've been making. And although it happens in a very, very subtle, it is clear where the direction the gaming industry is heading to. Is absolutely clear. So what am I talking about here? I'm talking about there's a statement that Ubisoft had said, and crap, I can't share right now because Huvvi's not here.
I'm here.
Oh, you're here. Oh, snap. Dude,
Yeah.
at least announce that you're back. Like, I'm over here trying to kill time. Like, dude, say something,
No,
man.
you have a good time.
Oh my god. Okay. So so now that Who is actually here, let me share this real quick because I'm gonna go off on Ubisoft right now, and pretty much the gaming industry in general.
Uh-huh.
So, as the title says,
Okay.
Ubisoft getting gamers comfortable with not owning their games. Let me read that one more time. Let me read that one more time. The new Ubisoft Plus and getting gamers comfortable. I don't know how you're going to accomplish this. Keyword right here, comfortable. I don't know how you're going to do that.
They're not.
Comfortable with not owning their games. So let's see what the hell is going on here. And yeah, right now, although we were happy talking about CEO and Evo, right now, time for some bad news. I'm not happy. So Ubisoft has rebranded its subscription offering and introduced a new service for PC players. Ubisoft main all singing, all dancing subscriptions offering has been rebranded Ubisoft Plus Premium. This service is the one that features all new releases such as Week's Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown, which is available early to subscribers. It costs $17.99 as accessible via PC, Xbox, and Amazon Luna. By the way, how do you guys feel about Amazon Luna? Have you guys have opinion on it?
Nope.
Never used it.
No, who we know?
No.
And any of you guys gonna try it?
No.
Seafring?
I've never used it.
How is it?
No, I've never used it. Like I have
Oh, you never
no
used
idea.
Okay. In addition, the firm of adding Ubisoft Plus Classic on PC. The Classic option was already available for PlayStation players via Sony owned subs, offering the features back catalog games like Far Cry 6, Rainbow Six Siege for $7.99 a month. We look at consumers' behavior and how people were interacting with our offer, and we saw an opportunity for us to evolve. Ha! Evolve. Okay. Don't get me started. Well, but okay.
I'm going to tell you how people are going to evolve. They're going to evolve by putting on eye patches, getting hooks for hands, peg legs, and flying the Jolly Roger because we're all going to become pirates. That's what's going to happen.
Yes.
You're going to tell me that the only way that I can access my game is by signing up to your whatever the hell online service, whether it's on a PC, an Xbox, or Amazon Luna for the people that actually use that. You're out of your goddamn mind. You're going to see people not sign up to that and basically pirate the shit out of all of your titles. Expect to not make any money. Simple as that. Ubisoft, by doing this, is literally saying, watch us fuck up and go bankrupt.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're not going to make any money off of this. Everyone's going to pirate the games in any way, shape they possibly can. The pirating community is going to blow up if they push forward with this.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? The only ones that they can blame is themselves.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I safely, well, with confidence, I'm pretty sure that's what most gamers are probably going to do now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. So when we look at how gamers engage with our different games, we see that our back catalog. Oh, wait, hold on, I read this already, right? it's still active and alive. So we saw an opportunity to offer these worlds to our consumers for a lower fee, and this is a response to behavior that we saw from players.
You can get
Um,
lower than free.
yeah, Tremblay, I think that's how you say it, says that the company has seen millions of subscribers over the last 4 years who have collectively played over 500 million hours of gameplay. Some sign up on trial one game for a month or two, while others come in, stick around, and play numerous titles. There are multiple behaviors, he explains. There are definitely a lot of people who come in for one game and then decide to buy it after the subscription ends. That's part of the reality, and that's okay with us. Ubisoft Plus premium price points exceeds in some cases the Xbox and PlayStation charges for their services. Some of this will be to do with the business realities behind putting brand new AAA games into subscription services. This is the other thing I want to talk about here. AAA games into subscription services. We talk about games like Call of Duty. We talk about games like what do you call it? What's another big AAA game? All right, let me say, Prince of Persia, Assassin's Creed, etc., etc. The big games. And Tremblay believes the cost is reasonable considering what's on offer. We're taking day one releases with games like Prince of Persia. You get early access. We already have Avatar, Assassin's Creed, Mirage. All of these games are available to play. That's tremendous value already. And then there's a catalog also, thousands of dollars of games. You don't just get access to these games, you get premium editions. So it's all the added content that comes with that. We have rewards too. And one of the big advantages of Ubisoft Plus is that you get to play these across platform devices. From one subscription, you can access our titles through PC, Xbox, and Amazon Luna. Okay, I don't think I want to read any more of this other stuff. Let me see. I'm trying to get the most important stuff. Okay, there's a lot of debate around subscription video games. Today, the business model is the dominant way of paying for TV, film, and music. But that's not currently the case in this industry, and nor should it be. Well, then let me continue. Games are typically much longer. Many of them are free or feature some other form of monetization. And AAA publishers have argued that the number just don't add up. Nevertheless, Ubisoft is seeing growth in the sector. Tremblay says that in October of last year was the biggest month of Ubisoft in Ubisoft Plus history. The point is not to force users to go down one route or another. He explains, we offer purchases to offer subscriptions, and it's the gamer's preference that is important here. We are seeing some people who buying choose to subscribe now, but it all works. He says that subscription has enabled Ubisoft to bring new players with 1 in 10 Ubisoft subscribers having never engaged with company games before. Okay, even if that's the case, even if you have the capability to bring in new gamers, I don't want to be forced to subscribe to your stupid service to play AAA titles. Yeah, reading all this junk.
That's not what you said.
He
You'll still
said,
be able to buy your games.
it says we offer purchase, we offer subscription, and it's the gamer's preference that is important here. So that means you have the option to purchase that AAA title, but you could also get the subscription, which not only gives you, or at least offers that AAA title, but offers other games. You just don't own them like you would if you flat out purchased the game. Like, let's say you wanted to buy Prince of Persia. You could buy Prince of Persia on its own and then own Prince of Persia. Or you can go with the subscription model that they're offering, which gives you Prince of Persia, but also gives you their back catalog of games. You just don't own them in that capacity. Buy the game on its own or play it among others as part of the subscription model. That's what they're saying with this point right here, right where my finger is. The
Yeah,
point
yeah,
is not to force users to go down one route or another, he explains.
But you
We
can't use
offer
both.
purchase, we offer subscription, and it's the gamer's preference that is important here. The thing is that it says here that see you can't do one. They're saying they're not forcing users to only buy their games or only go subscription. So I'm guessing that if you say, I want to buy Prince of Persia, God damn it, I'm buying Prince of Persia. And you buy the game, you install it, you play it, and you turn around and go, you know what? Let me try out some of the other shit. Instead of going out and buying those other games, you can say, you know what? Let me get their subscription. Let me try out these other games and then turn around and buy the ones that I ended up liking, which is an option here because that's literally what he's saying right there, all in one paragraph.
The problem that I have with that is, if you the subscription services that he's talking about, what I can't remember. I think he said what, $7.99 or $14.99, or whatever.
It's two different ones. He said the $14.99 tier or the upper tier is the one where you get the latest titles, your AAA games, the big ones, the baddest games are the ones that fall under that subscription model. The other one is called the classics, and that's the back catalog of games, like the
Right.
older games that essentially you can't find on the shelves right now at all. That includes those games.
Right, but what I'm saying is, regardless of which service, that you choose, all those games that you have access to, you don't own any of those games, regardless of which subscription that you choose.
You're right. They
You
don't
could
own them. But the fact that they give you the option to have that classic subscription model means that, at least in Ubisoft's case, they're willing to say, you know what? People play our classic games, the older titles. We're going to make those always available to you. You may not own them, but as long as you maintain your subscription, you have access to this entire back catalog. Unlike, say, Nintendo, who gives you the expansion pass, and yeah, you have some titles that are N64, your Super Nintendo, your Genesis, but we all know that's not the entire back catalog for that particular console. At least Ubisoft is saying, hey, those, thousands of games that we made starting since the beginning, here you go. It's an option here for you to try.
So it seems like you're in favor of this.
I'm not. But
Oh,
if you're going to trend it in this direction with the subscription model, which we all know this is what they're all going to end up doing, at least Ubisoft is going down a path that is more appealing than, say, the alternative, like what Nintendo's doing right now. At least Ubisoft is giving the option and saying, hey, you know that brand new game that you just saw come out yesterday? Well, because you're on our $14.99 subscription model, you get it on launch day and you can play it immediately. Or let's say you prefer classic games and you just say, you know what, I want to dive into, an old school game that they made that you can't find anywhere else. Well, I can do that too. Right now, nobody else has anything like that. The only one that comes close is Nintendo with the Nintendo Online Plus expansion pass, and even then, they don't have the same library capacity that Ubisoft right here is currently claiming that they have.
yeah, I don't want to. Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned Nintendo, because I don't really want to, really talk about them, but
You
Nintendo
have to.
knows. Well, yeah, I mean, I know we have to, but it's like, I just don't want to go too far. Oh, I don't want to go too far away, from Ubisoft. But with Nintendo, my issue, always has been, with Nintendo, is the fact that they have so many games in this, and I feel like I'm being teased when it comes to Nintendo, because they're only giving you a small handful of games, and
Mhm.
yet you still have to, pay, all this money every month, but they're only going to give you a small portion of games, while they have a huge landfill of games, behind them, not offering, to their audience. I don't appreciate that, for a little bit.
I
There's nothing.
completely agree with you. They really should do what Ubisoft is trying to do. They should give you the option, like, okay, you want to play these old school games from the NES, the SNES, the N64. Like, you want to play these games? Cool. Here's a subscription model that we're offering you, and here's literally all of the games. Not some of the games, Not only the ones that we retained the rights to, all of the titles, the entire backlog that they every game that ever came out on the NES should be on the NES Online. Not some of them, all of the goddamn games. The same with the Super Nintendo, the same with the Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, the N64, and for some reason they threw the Sega Genesis on there, but that's them doing that. But still, that entire backlog should be available because, again, when's the last time you went anywhere and saw an NES cartridge on the shelf?
Like at a pawn shop? Maybe
But
one.
you see that, but that's what I'm talking about. You have to go to a specialty shop to find these titles. You're not going to go to fucking Walmart or Target and see an SNES title on the shelf. You're not going to see, a wrapped copy of Super Mario 64 on the shelf. That's not going to happen. Right. So they have to offer these games in another manner. And right now, out of everything that I've heard and out of all the potential options when it comes to a subscription model for playing games, Ubisoft is the only one right now that's on the right track when it comes to offering content to people. We may not still like it, but out of all the available options so far, these guys are doing it the right way. They're giving people the option.
Yeah, you forgot about Game Pass.
True.
True. Yeah, I forgot about Game Pass also. True. What are you trying to say though, Huvvi?
No, nothing. I'm just waiting for you to get to the point.
I'm trying to figure out what you brought Game Pass for what then?
Okay, what Ubisoft is doing is trying to do. Game Pass has already done it.
So Game Pass has an always available and entire backlog of games to play.
To up to a certain point, yeah. They don't have their back. They don't have their.
The entire backlog, right?
Yeah, they don't have their backlog. Okay. It just goes all the way back to, I want to say, 2016.
Okay, so that is 10 years. Okay, almost 10 years of games, right? Which is still a lot of games. I'm not going to say anything. There were a lot of fucking games that came out in the last 10 years, easily. But that Ubisoft is claiming that you're going to have access to the entire catalog of games.
They should have more games in their catalog, yeah.
Exactly. So out of all of the available game subscription options or plans available, Ubisoft right now is the only one that's offering you that complete package. I can play the old school games I grew up with, or I can stay on the forefront with all the latest, greatest stuff that they come out with, and I can pick and choose.
Let me since you have Game Pass, I don't know how often you use it, but okay, well, I mean, maybe you still know the answer anyway. When it comes to Game Pass, all the games that you have available, are you able to download those games and play them offline?
Yeah.
And you could keep them
offline?
Yes.
Oh, I don't know about offline, but you can download them and play them.
Okay.
Most likely not.
Okay, so if you could download them, but not play them offline, you don't own the game.
No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't own the. No, you don't.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, you don't own the game at all. And
if you stop paying for Game Pass, you don't own those games.
Right. Even if you downloaded it into your console, you can't play the game if you stop paying for Game Pass.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So to me, look, it seems it's like, okay, like I said when I mentioned about Nintendo, the gaming industry knows that we care about game preservation. I know a lot of people, they care about game preservation. I like playing classic games. And that's the reason why just about every single game that I bought. Now I did get rid of some, which I completely regret. But most of the games, that I have bought, I keep. I like keeping. I don't like getting rid of my games. I like to keep mostly every game that I have purchased, because I know for a fact somewhere down the line that game will be non-existent. We can't play those games anymore. It's not the same as with movies and music, like we always talked about before. To me, what Ubisoft is doing, whatever Xbox is doing, whatever Nintendo is doing, they're doing everything in their power to give us excuse my language, but half-ass it, instead of giving you exactly what the gamers want in order to keep these games. No, we are going to offer you games that you are not allowed to keep. That's essentially what they're saying. Oh yeah, you want game preservation? Is that what you want? Okay, here you go. Here's a plate of all these games that we're going to offer you. You just not allowed to keep them, but keep paying us money to have access to these games. Keep paying us money every month, and if you stop paying, all those games goes away. All of those games.
So you want to get those games for free?
No, I didn't say I don't want to get those games for free. They need to offer a service to where we are able to keep the games. Because if I remember correctly, I think when I let me see, well, my PS3 doesn't work anymore, but I remember you were able to purchase some PS1 games on the PS3. I remember
you can still do that.
Yeah, I remember it. Well, I didn't know, because again, my PS3 is broken, so I don't have access, to my PS3 anymore.
Yeah, on all versions of the PlayStation 3, you can pop in a PlayStation 1 disc into the disc drive and the game will play. The only issue was the PlayStation 2 games. Only the first two versions of the console, the 40 and 60 gig original releases, could play PlayStation 2 games natively. I think what the original 80 gig one that came out had like some backwards compatibility, but it wasn't 100%.
And you mean the very first one, the fat one?
Yeah, like the first fat models. There were two first ones. There was one with a 40 gig hard drive and a 60 gig hard drive. Those two could play PlayStation 2 games because they essentially had a PlayStation 2 built inside. They had the chipset, they had everything. Then they came out with another version of the fat PS3 that had 80 gig hard drive. It did not have the physical PS2 chip, but it could emulate the games. That's why the compatibility was more wonky in that one. Then came another one that had an 80 gig hard drive, and that one did not have the backwards compatibility at all for PlayStation 2 games, but it could still play PS1 games. And ever since then, going forward, all versions of the PS3 could only play PS3 and PS1 games.
Yeah, but not PS2. Yeah. Correct.
Yeah, because the chip was removed in the first version of the 80 gig one, and it was turned into software emulation like you would on a PC. You use an app to run the game, where on the 40 gig and the 60 gig versions, they had the physical PlayStation 2 processor in the console of the PlayStation 3, and that's how it was able to play the PS2 games.
Question on the, if I remember correctly, didn't they have a 20 gig model also?
No, they did a 40 and 60, because at that time 20 gigs they felt was too low.
No, at the launch of the PS3, they had a 20 and 60.
Oh, so
I thought. No, then they added a 40 gig. I don't know if that one was backwards compatible, full backwards compatible, but the original was 20 and 60.
20 and
60? Let me look.
Okay.
I'll look it up to see if I'm correct.
Okay.
But I do remember it being 20 and 60.
I could have sworn there was a 20 gig PS3 out there before.
That probably was like the day it came out, like a launch one.
Yeah.
But that quickly got phased out easily.
Yeah,
20 gigs wasn't enough.
Yeah, and then I remember they made a special edition one. I think it was a white one. I think they had made like a special white edition, PlayStation 3. I forgot what gigs that was, but I don't remember if that one was backwards compatible also. Do you remember the special edition?
Nah.
No, I think it was all white. Let me see if I can find it. I think it was all white. Let me see if that one was backwards compatible. But the thing that I was trying to say was, I remember, maybe I'm mistaken. You could correct me. I remember you were able to purchase you were able to purchase PS1 games and download them onto your PS3.
Download them?
Well, pretty much purchase them digitally.
Yeah, they had PS1 games available online.
Let me see. Okay, I think I found it. Oh, hang on. PS3 console. Okay, yeah, 250 gigs. Wow.
All right, well, but Steve, with all due respect, can you get to the main point of this topic?
Well, that's what I pretty much said. I don't like what I said. Well, I already said what I needed to say. They're pretty much trying to offer you something. I'm tired of what the gaming industry. They know exactly what gamers specifically want, and you know this. Like I've complained about it, pretty much forever for all these years now. They know whether if it's Nintendo, Microsoft, Ubisoft, whoever, Amazon. I don't care who you are. They know specifically what the gamers want. They want to be able to play whatever game that they want, have access to whatever game what they want, and to have the ability to keep these games. And if that means they have to repurchase it, so be it. Whatever, whatever. I don't care what extra features that you have with these services. That's not what I want. What I want is to have the capability to play whatever game that I want, and if I want to buy, and if I have the capability of buying it and keeping it, that's what I want to do. I don't want to be in a position to where, oh well, since you stopped paying, for my service, now you have absolutely no control whatsoever. You can't play none of these games, whatsoever until you start paying us every month again and resubscribe. That's not what I want.
So you don't want a subscription service
Correct.
for games?
They
Okay,
haven't.
we've established. All right, so we've established that. What you told me what you wanted to talk about was this quote that he made about owning your game. Right? That's what you said, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where is that quote here?
It was in it was the title that he said, where he said,
Okay, the
"You
title,
are."
but he says it in the he says it in the article.
Yeah, but I already told you, if you're not going to if I'm not going to be able to keep if I'm not going to be able to keep the games that you're offering me, then I don't need your stupid service.
See, if that's the case, then you just want the game for free. If you're paying monthly for a subscription, you're paying for that subscription. If you're not going to pay for the subscription, then you don't have no rights to the games that are in the subscription. That's like me complaining about paying for Netflix for a month, and then I stop paying for the next month, but yeah, I still get to use it. It don't work that way.
That's not the same thing.
That would
That's
sound
not
like to me.
that's not the same thing. No, no. Well, that's not the same thing, because I could still buy pretty much whatever movie I want. I could go to Walmart. I could go to Amazon. I could go to whatever service that I want to, and I could buy Rambo if I want to. I could buy the first Terminator 1 that's still available if I want to. I could buy whatever video game. I mean, I could buy whatever movie I want. Pretty much, you can't do that with games. You can't
If
do that
they're
with.
off, if they're offering you the games on their service, and you decide not to pay for their service, then you don't have the right to play those games until you pay them to use their service. Do
I
you
don't
do
think.
you, do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, having no. What I am saying is that you don't have the option to buy any of the classic games that they're offering you in the service.
And they know, and I mean there is, but let's say if you don't have any option, they know that. That's why they want you to pay for the subscription.
And that's the problem that I have. That's the problem.
I mean,
That's the problem. That's the problem that I have. If you're going to if you're going to make a claim that, oh yeah, you, for example, if these companies are going to make a claim that we want, oh yeah, we hear you fans, that you care about game preservation, but yet if you don't even give us the option, to buy the game and to keep the game, well then all you really doing is just nickel and diming your audience. That's all you're doing.
I disagree, but that's not even the main point of the thing that I wanted to talk. Scroll down the article.
All right, just tell me when to stop. All right. Because I read a lot. I read a whole lot. So
stop right there. Now you don't even have to read. You don't even have to read the article. But this quote right here: "Gamers are used to owning their games. That's the consumer shift that needs to happen." Now, what he's referring to here is he's talking about the idea, and I think this is the quote where he says that gamers are gonna have to get used to not owning their games. Right? Now, I don't know if he meant it that way. I think he's talking in general, but I could be wrong. I haven't read the article. But if he's saying what I think he's saying here, I think what he's saying is that until gamers are comfortable not owning their game. Now, then he's talking in reference to the music industry and the movie industry. Because in the movie industry, if you go on Netflix, right, you get a whole bunch of movies. You don't own those movies. You have access to watch those movies. You're paying a service to watch those movies, but you don't own them. When it comes to the music industry, Apple, SoundCloud, you have the option to listen to those songs, but you don't have access to them. They're not yours. If you stop paying them, then you stop having access to those games, to that music. In gaming, gamers don't operate that way right now. The wide variety of us don't operate that way. But the reason why Ubisoft Plus exists, the reason why Game Pass exists, the reason why the Nintendo Online subscription exists, the reason why PlayStation Now, whatever the fuck they call it now,
it's
exists,
because they want
they want that model.
They want to go in that
Well, I think Microsoft. I don't know if every company wants this model, but I know for a fact Microsoft does, and we'll talk about that in the next topic. They want, at least Microsoft, they want Game Pass to be number one, right? I don't know about Ubisoft. I don't know about Ubisoft, but they've hitched their wagon the Game Pass, right? And that model is the model that Netflix has. It's the model that Apple Music has. Same going so on and so forth, right? And he's explaining here that the only way that Netflix for gaming is going to work is if gamers are comfortable not owning their games. Now we all are old. I prefer to own my games. I prefer to own my games. You know what I mean? But at the same time, you have a lot of young people that are growing up and gaming that don't seem to care.
I disagree with that.
They would be more comfortable than we would, realistically, because they don't grow up in a future where physical media is dominant.
Yeah, but you still see kids telling their mom and telling their parents, I want to buy this game, whether if it's buying it digitally or they want to go to the store and pick it up themselves, going to GameStop or whatever. That still happens now even with kids.
But in the digital age, we're going further away from ownership. Like you can't convince me that buying a game digitally is the same as buying a game physically. They're not the same.
Hmm.
I feel like I have more ownership of physical media because it's right there. I own it. That disc is mine. That key is mine.
Correct. I agree. I agree.
You know what I mean? And kids nowadays are more used to digital media, whether it's movies, whether it's music, and whether it's video games. So the thing is that I don't know if it says it here, but
Well,
it is.
here it says this is the one that you had mentioned earlier, that the consumership need like, see, he said that's the consumership that needs to happen. They got comfortable not owning their CDs.
Read it from the beginning. Read it from the beginning.
All right. I don't have a crystal ball, but when you look at the different subscription services that are out there, we've had a rapid expansion over the past couple of years, but it's still relatively small compared to other models. He begins. We're seeing expansion on consoles as the like of PlayStation and Xbox bring new people in. On PC, from a Ubisoft standpoint, it's already been great, but we're looking to reach out more on PC, so we see opportunities there. One of the things we saw is that gamers are used to a little bit like DVD having and owning their games. That's the consumer shift that needs to happen. They got comfortable not owning their CD collection or DVD collection. That's a transformation that's been a bit slower to happen in games. As gamers grow comfortable in that aspect, you don't lose your progress. If you resume your game at another time, your progress file is still there. That's not that's not been deleted. You don't lose what you've built in the game or your engagement with the game. So it's about feeling comfortable with not owning your game. You want me to keep going?
No.
Okay.
That was pretty much what he said. Now he didn't outright say gamers should be more comfortable owning their game. He didn't say that outright. He's just explaining the differences between the movie industry and the music industry and how that change has been a lot slower for gaming.
But it still feels like he's implying that's what he also wants to happen.
I mean, I don't know whether he wants it to happen or not, but at the end of the day, like he's not wrong here.
Well, but when you offering a service like that, clear that's an indication to me that you want it to happen. Yeah, he's pretty much saying that, oh, let's start early. I mean, he didn't say that. You could just see it, with the subscription.
Yeah. And to me, the subscription is there pretty much to sell you their old library, to make money off of their old library. That's there for.
Hmm.
And like I mean, it is what it is. I think that the best thing about subscription services is about the existing library. Now, you said something that I don't care about game preservation. That's not entirely true. I think we've had arguments over this.
Okay.
I believe in game preservation, but I don't think a console manufacturer should be hell bent on doing that, especially if they're making new stuff. Nintendo should be more focused on the next Switch. They shouldn't be worried about what old game they could bring to you. I would rather than focus on new games. But what I don't want Nintendo doing is trying to kill off the emulation, which is what they actively tried to do. Because because what Nintendo want, what all these companies want this, but I'm just pointing out Nintendo. They want to make money off of their old game. That's what they want.
Hmm.
But they also want you to buy their new console, they also want you to buy their new game. But if you're not making money off of Nintendo games or Super Nintendo games or whatever, why are you trying to kill off these emulation companies? That's the type of that is the part of game preservation that I'm in favor of. Is emulation. Because to me it's the best it's not the best way, but it's a way to experience these games as they were without without the current company having to focus on reselling you those games. You know what I'm saying? Like they can do their thing, and if you want to experience a game back in the old school days, you download the emulator, you download the ROM, you get to experience those games.
So, who wants to be the first one to bust out their hooked hand, peg leg, and eye patch?
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, as far as Nintendo's concerned, if you do emulation, you're doing that already.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But like what he's saying here is not wrong. He's not wrong. Now, do I think gaming will ever get to that point? I don't think so. And if it does, I don't think that's a good thing. Because gaming is a hobby that is just different than the other two. The way it's consumed, the way it's judged, it's just different.
Well, we were literally just talking about how it's consumed in different manners. And we were just talking about Evo and CEO and fighting games and how you have literally these conventions put together just for that, for people to hop on and play. And it's not just that they're playing whole different types of games. They're playing one type of game.
Yeah.
So
and you can and music and movies, you can't. The experience is just not there.
It's not the same. It can't be, because for every blockbuster film that is released, for every #1 album that is released, there's going to be a game that outsells it, that's going to provide an experience that neither one of those can do, even if you were to combine them. The games provide an experience that cannot be replicated in any other form of media. It can't be done. Because the moment you try to replicate it, you become it. Simple as that.
So but you have anything?
You said that that he's not, that he's not wrong, and look, I guess I understand what you're saying, but I just don't think that, in my opinion, you could think what you want. How you mentioned, well, you don't want them to get rid of the you don't want them to get rid of the emulation, which I agree with you. And then you also said you don't want Nintendo and all these other console manufacturers to focus on own games, like old games and whatnot. But everything that they tried to offer us has been crap. If that PlayStation Classic that you bought, you said it was garbage.
Yeah, it was garbage.
They only offered you had to buy another device. They offered you what, 20 games, and you went out of your way to buy all these different SD sticks, and none of them wasn't working, I think, except like one or two of them. You had to go through all that hassle, and overall it wasn't really a good experience unless you were pirating the games. So giving us these classic consoles, but yeah, if the games are still not there, what's the point? That's not to me. They're just doing it wrong. What PlayStation should have done is give you all the classic PS1 games, whatever that they have, and put it on that console. That's a true PlayStation Classic. That's a true true nostalgia, or a true experience of all the old games you have played in the past. But they offer you. Go ahead.
I would agree on that, except for one thing, and that would be memory limitation. So the average PlayStation 1 game as an actual computer file, single file on a computer, is roughly about 450 megabytes, which is about as much as a single CD can hold in terms of just storage space. How many games came out on a PlayStation 1 in total? We're talking about thousands of games,
700.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So once you start getting into those kinds of numbers, the amount of storage required to store every single PlayStation game that's ever been made onto a single console, you're looking at a very large hard drive. In fact, give me a
And,
moment and I'm going to do some quick math here
and you also
so we can
have to
talk about.
understand they don't own all those games. They don't own the licenses to all those games. So like
It still doesn't change the fact that that classic that you bought, you said it was garbage. It still doesn't change that
it was
fact.
garbage. It was garbage.
Right.
Right? Yeah, it was garbage. What is that supposed to mean? That actually proves my point.
It was.
I would they wasted R&D money. They wasted money that they could have put into something else. And I get it. They're not in the same department, but they wasted money doing something else. They could have done something completely different, something better, than waste their time recreating the PlayStation 1 Classic, which they did a shitty job of. They could have used that. They could have used that money to do something better.
So yeah, so it was a waste of time. What you're saying? It was a
It
complete
was a
waste
waste
of
of
time.
time.
Okay. So here's the math done.
Okay.
So I took 450 megabytes as the average game size. Sometimes they're more, sometimes they're less, but I took 450 as the average. The
Mhm.
original PlayStation, we're talking about total titles released on the console. If you want to talk about just American, that's different. But I'm talking about total amount of titles released on that one console is
Yeah.
7,918. So almost
7.
eight.
Oof.
So almost 8,000 titles, right?
Okay.
I times that by the 450, and it gave me a number of 3,563,100. So I then divided that by 1024, which is the average size of a single gigabyte of storage.
Yeah.
Because that's the next level above megabyte. I have megabyte, gigabyte, and then terabyte. I went to
Correct.
gigabytes at 1024. That equals out to 3,479 gigabytes of total storage space that would be required to hold every game that came out on just the PlayStation 1. If I was to divide that again by 1024, which is now up to terabytes,
Correct.
we're up to 3 terabytes, almost 3.5 terabytes. So a 4 terabyte hard drive, which would be big enough to not only hold the games, but also the operating system for the PlayStation, costs what? Like right now, you could probably get one for 60, 70, $80, depending on the brand.
Yeah, you're cheap now. Yeah.
Yes, now. But physically, how big they actually are, we're talking about something that weighs about a pound and a half or two. That's not going to be something conducive to be sitting on a shelf. And I'm just, you know, these numbers are not 100% accurate, but they're close enough for argument's sake.
Hmm.
If you were to release a single device, single PlayStation 1 game, it would be a device that would cost, a couple $100, to compensate for hardware and things of that nature. Now you times that by every other company. The original NES had, probably more titles than that. The SNES had ridiculous amount as well. And we're talking
Yeah.
about total title releases. At a certain point, you need to think about the hardware that's required to store all of that. And at that
Let
point,
me
it's
ask you a
just
question.
not.
Let me ask you a question, Steve. If Sony decided to sell the PlayStation 1 Classic for $200, $250.
Okay.
You're telling me that you would not have a problem with that?
For 250.
And it came with
With
every
all the
game that
games,
ever came out on it.
yeah.
If it came with all the games and I had to pay 250, I think that's a fair deal.
You truly believe that?
To own 7,000 games, I think that's a very true. I think that's a very good deal.
What if I bumped it up to 300?
Still a good deal.
I would never do that. Absolutely not.
We're talking about 7,000 games. I don't even think you'd be. I don't think.
I'm not playing 7,000 games.
You're not gonna have. I don't think you'll even be able to have the capability to play all 7,000.
So why would I pay $300 just to do that?
Okay, but that means it's still worth it.
No, it's not.
Yeah, absolutely it is.
No, it's not.
Seafring is
not
playing.
worth
It's playing all PlayStation games, or let's say all Super Nintendo games, every single that's been made, and it's on a classic console, and the console costs $250. Is that worth it, or is that a ripoff? In your opinion?
To actually own these things, because ultimately you got to think about it in
Yes,
this
owning.
sense too.
Actually,
Yeah,
owning.
no. I to own the game, it still wouldn't be in a physical format because it would be a digital console.
Well, yeah,
Like,
but let's say
like-
we were able to have the 3 terabyte that you mentioned to play all these games. Would the console be worth it?
At a price point of 250, it would not. Like, it would have to be less than that. Given the fact that they're no longer developing for that console or any of the consoles that we're talking about. Yeah,
Okay.
think about it. Ultimately, at the end of the day, all game companies, all of them, not some of them, all of them, get into it for two reasons. One, because they enjoy what they do, and two, to make money off of it, getting paid. Ultimately,
and why would Sony spend the R&D to spend like a large amount of money on a PlayStation 1 Classic, realistically? Because even if they do it the way that Safe said they're gonna do it, they're gonna have to spend some money. They're gonna have to spend money.
Exactly.
And do you really think
the only money that you like money on what on storage? I mean, I don't think that'll cost them that much.
I mean, we don't know. We don't know.
Ultimately, what it would come down to is how would they go about it? Personally, they would not do what I would do in that situation, which is, okay, there's already an existing emulation community. Yeah, they're a bunch of goddamn pirates, but it exists. The software already is there. So why am I going to go out of my way to essentially reinvent the wheel by making my own version of emulation software when I can just, license it or even purchase it from one of these development groups, get their version of the emulator, port it over to a piece of hardware that is essentially a mini computer that runs only this emulation software, and then basically just boot up all these games. And you can boot them up one at a time because you're not going to be able to play multiples at the same time. But I don't see them doing anything even close to that. What they're going to do is they're going to spend time and money developing their own emulator that's going to run on proprietary hardware just to make sure other people don't do the same thing. And that's where the bulk of the cost that Huvvi's talking about would go to, is that proprietary hardware, proprietary software, and then, the extra hard drive, which we already saw is already $50, $60, $70, depending on the brand of hard drive. You put that all together, and now we're looking at something that they're going to want to get paid for. Okay, it costs them $80 for the hard drive, for a 4 terabyte hard drive to store every single PlayStation 1 game ever made. Okay, how much money did they spend on hardware R&D, software R&D, to now develop this thing when that time and effort could have been spent on the next new iteration of the PlayStation or the next, handheld console they plan on doing or whatever.
And
They're not going to do it.
also take into account if they're gonna sell it in stores, they have to go halves with the store, as opposed to putting those games in your own subscription service where you can charge people a monthly fee to access those games. The math is the math just goes in the subscription direction.
The math's not mathing.
Yeah.
I get what you're trying to do. I wish we could do that. I wish there was a way that we could preserve our games in a way that allowed us to own them ourselves, so that we can at any time, not on the timetable or the financial timetable of another entity, but on our time and on our dollar, sit down and say, okay, I'm feeling nostalgic. Let me boot up this random classic PS1 or the classic SNES, classic Xbox, or whatever the hell you decide to develop, and just boot up a random classic game. I wish we could do that. I wish that could be a thing, but it's not going to happen. It's just not. It's not in the financial future of these companies to offer it to us. So the only other option is to break the law. You would essentially have to dive down the rabbit hole that is console emulation and risk getting flagged by the FBI and having them knock on your door. Now, am I saying that happens constantly? No.
If it's Nintendo, they are coming after your ass.
Yes, they are. Nintendo has personally shut down some of the biggest sites where you could access like copies of games and stuff. They are personally responsible for shutting down some of the biggest ones when I was growing up. So now when you want access to this stuff, like, you literally have to go through some very shady backdoor channels, stuff that would almost guaranteed infect your computer with a virus. So there's no middle ground.
That doesn't sound good.
It's not good. But unfortunately, this is the state of this. On one hand, you have companies like Ubisoft, Microsoft with Game Pass, who are developing these subscription services where you have access to titles. In the case of Ubisoft, all of their games, including the newest ones, with Game Pass up to a certain date, and you pay monthly, staying legally clear of anything and everything. Or you go the other route and you find an emulator, you download illegal copies of games, even ones you've never owned before, and next thing you know, in all reality, someone might show up. A lot of these sites get tracked and monitored by these companies. Especially Nintendo, who has a proven track record of going after not only the sites themselves to put them down, but actually go after the individuals who hosted those sites.
Yeah.
So you wanna be in a position to keep stuff, you're gonna have to break the law.
So F is in the chat. What's going on, bro?
What's up,
Ruben,
F?
Ronald Lubin. I think this is his first time here. What's up, cuz? This is Ronald.
What's going on, cuz? Yeah, I think this is your first
in the chat.
Rudolph is here as well. So props to Rudolph. All right, you have anything else to say, Steve, before we move on?
No. I think we've been on here, long enough. Look, it is what it is. If we're gonna have to accept subscription services opposed to just owning the game upright, like how Seafrink said, how he said even he wish it could happen that way. I wish it could happen that way. Is not going to happen. The only way that it's probably going to happen is either we subscribe to it and pay for life, or piracy. That's all we have.
So now let me bring this up because this will give you guys an idea of what oh my bad, what could be going on next week. Now, this give you guys an idea of what I'm gonna share this article. I'm not gonna read it word for word, but Xbox is going third party and stepping away from hardware, says Insider. Now on Twitter, I'll probably say like a week ago, there was this news upon news coming out about certain games coming out that Microsoft made coming out on PlayStation and Nintendo. The first two games I heard was Hi-Fi Rush and Sea of Thieves coming out on PlayStation and Nintendo later on this year, right?
Hi-Fi
Rush. There was a rumor. Hi-Fi Rush. Do you know about Hi-Fi Rush?
Yeah, that's why I asked. What is that? Can you show us? My bad.
Yeah,
but I'm curious.
Yeah, I'm familiar with Sea of Thieves, but not Hi-Fi Rush.
Yeah. Sea of Thieves, I actually wanted to try out, but obviously I can't. But Hi-Fi Rush, I never heard of that game before.
I'll show you. Let me get to it. But yeah, but that was a game that came out early last year. Came out early last year. This is how the game looks. Let me show you.
That's giving me Jet Set Radio's vibes right now.
Yeah, definitely does. It's a rhythm-based platformer / beat 'em up. Let's show some video.
Is the gameplay Jet Set Radio?
No.
Oh.
No. It's more like I would probably say it's more like a platformer /
I got to see it.
I actually have the game on Game Pass. It's a good game. It's a good game.
Well, what's the plot? Like, what's the point of the game? Like the story, I should say.
He's a guy who goes into a machine. He goes into a machine, has music embedded inside of him, and pretty much he's trying to. He and a group of friends are trying to fight the government, basically.
Oh snap! Yeah. Oh my gosh, dude! I'm all I see is Jet Set Radio.
Yeah. Visually, it's very much like Jet Set Radio.
Yes.
Like from an artistic and animation standpoint, it's very much like Jet Set Radio.
Exactly.
And given the fact that it's musically based, like adds more credence to that.
Yeah. The combat system, like, have you ever played No More Heroes? I'm Seafring.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Very similar to that.
Yeah. I'm getting a little bit of No More Heroes vibes also. The way how he had smashed that guy, yeah. Or robot or whatever.
So this is the game right here. So like you said, this game came out early last year. It came out on Xbox and PC.
Now you mentioned is also music or rhythm based. Like how is that possible? How does that work in the combat system?
I like that's the part of the game that I kind of don't like, even though I get it. Now let me show you right where are we at? Okay. Oh crap. Okay. You notice you notice the ring in the middle.
Yes.
Red ring, right? When you're doing combos, you have to hit the button at a certain time. Once that orange circle connect with the green circle, you have to put it at the right moment, and you'll get more points. And I think it does more damage and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. So we have to. Yeah, it's like you pretty much have to be precise in some of your combos. Okay.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. Well, and what's your issue with that? Why don't you like that?
No, I prefer it to be like I prefer it to be a button masher.
Oh.
I mean, this and to be told, like it wasn't really my type of game, but it's definitely not a bad game. Definitely not a bad game.
Okay.
And like I said, this came out early last year.
What grade would you give the game, or what score would you give it?
I'd probably give it a solid 8.
Oh yeah, that's a good game then. Okay.
Yeah, solid 8. Like I said, like I said, it may not be my cup of tea, but it's not. It's definitely not a bad game. Definitely not.
What's your thoughts, Stephen? Like, is a game that you think you might play?
Yeah, that's something I can definitely see myself like diving into and enjoying uh, as I run through it. Yeah, for sure.
I
So
I I would actually like to give it a shot because let me tell you right now, this dude goes crazy for Jet Set Radio, and the fact that it does have similar vibes with that, and I like No More Heroes a lot. No More Heroes was a very
Mhm.
different, unique, type of gameplay style, and it has similarities, with the mechanics with that. So I would like to give this a shot, but if it's only for Xbox, obviously I can't play it, and I'm not supporting Xbox, so
right.
that's most.
So so yeah. So there was this rumor that Sea of Thieves and Hi-Fi Rush, the game you guys just saw, was gonna come out on PlayStation and Nintendo later on this year. Right now, these are rumors that were never confirmed or nothing like that. Nothing confirmed.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But then over the past week, more and more games started hinting at coming out on multiple platforms. Right now, remember the Blade game that was announced a couple weeks ago. Like not a couple weeks ago, a couple months ago during the Game Award, right, where they announced Blade. Now, Bethesda Arcane Studios, I think is that Arcane or yeah, I forgot. No, it's yeah, I forgot the studio, but they're under the Bethesda. Yeah, they're under the Bethesda umbrella. But you
Mhm.
know what? Fuck it, man. I gotta find out. Let me find out for real who's making the game, right? It is
Okay.
it is important. It is important,
Yeah.
right? So remember, this game was announced at the Game Award. Okay, there we go. This game was announced at the Game Award. Blade, Marvel Blade, right? We haven't seen gameplay or nothing like that. Now, this game is from. Just waiting for the whole thing. I'm just waiting for the whole thing to load. Bethesda. Okay, Bethesda. Right. All right. So it is Arcane Studio, Arcane Leon. Right. Now, Bethesda is owned by Microsoft. But the thing is that they never said that if this game was going to be exclusive to Microsoft. It was never announced.
Okay.
Now, mind you, Microsoft owns that studio. So
Mhm.
realistically, the game should be exclusive to Xbox. At least on console, it should be exclusive to Xbox.
Right.
But it was never said. It was never confirmed. And then, during this week, all you're hearing is different games going to different platforms. Like, oh, Halo potentially going to PlayStation.
What?
Gears of War, yeah, Gears of War potentially going to PlayStation. Now, here's the thing: all these other insiders, like I'm gonna take them with a grain of salt, right? I'm not going to take their word seriously. But I will say this: we're gonna go right to it right now. When this dude is reporting it, I believe him. Wario 64.
Oh,
When he's
R64.
reporting
Yeah.
something, yeah, when he's reporting something, I believe him. And it says it right here. Microsoft plans Starfield launch for PlayStation 5. Post the release of the already announced Shattered Space expansion for Xbox and PC. Now, like I said, what he says, I believe him. And when I tell you that Xbox fanboys around my timeline are crying about this, I
Mm-hmm.
think I saw one guy actually crying about this.
Whoa. Oh
Now,
my.
we talked about Ubisoft earlier, right? We talked about and then obviously it went to other stuff. And look, I don't know what's going to happen on Monday because Phil Spencer. Let me go back after the outrage, after everything hit the fan, and then obviously you hear this. Wario also reporting uh, Bethesda is also considering bringing Indiana Jones and the Great Circle to the PS5.
Mm-hmm.
Hi-Fi Rush announcement for non-PlayStation, non-Xbox platforms is also expected in the coming weeks. A new multi-platform approach for certain Xbox games is emerging inside Microsoft, we're told, with the company weighing up which titles will remain exclusive and others that will appear on Switch or PlayStation 5 in the future. And Indiana Jones appears to be part of that new wave of multi-platform games. Now, essentially, what we're seeing here is a company is a manufacturer going third party. And
Mhm.
after the outrage, here what Phil Spencer, head of Xbox, said: "We're listening and we hear you. We've been planning a business update event for next week, where we look forward to sharing more details with you about our vision of the future of Xbox. Stay tuned." And there's someone who reporting that they are likely going to change the branding of Xbox from Xbox to Microsoft Gaming. So, like I said, we don't know. None of this is confirmed yet. Literally, we're gonna hear a confirmation of this um during this week, next week, next week. But like I said, you mentioned Ubisoft Plus. To me, everything that Microsoft has done has led them to this point where they're looking to be more like Ubisoft, where they're willing to offer, they have their Game Pass, and they're willing to offer their game on multiple platforms, and they're looking to move away from the hardware market.
Now you
Everything they everything they've done up to that point has led me to that conclusion.
Yeah.
you, you said
So
you said you had a an article on about this.
yeah, let me go. Let's go to the article. Right.
Oh,
Let me see if I can.
yeah, like the important
Okay.
stuff. Yeah.
My Monday morning social media scroll was dominated by two things: Taylor Swift's announcement of the Tortured Poets Department and the reaction to Xbox leaked upcoming strategy. While I choose to pay attention to the former, I'm not doing okay. It's time for me to confront the
Cacophony.
cacophony. Okay, thank you, sir. Of noise surrounding the latest Xbox debacle. As I'm sure you've seen, it's believed that Microsoft will soon be announcing a new strategy that would see many of their first-party exclusive release on platforms such as the PlayStation 5 at a later date. It was already rumored that titles like Hi-Fi Rush and Sea of Thieves had ports set to be announced immediately. Now, word is that Starfield will launch on PS5 alongside the release of the Shattered Space expansion on Xbox later on this year. As as could upcoming Indiana Jones in the Great Circle, there's been a strong reaction from longtime Xbox fans in response to a potential switch to becoming a fully multi-platform publisher,
Yeah.
ranging from pure outrage to utter bafflement.
You know what? I actually see them really doing this because Sony actually kind of started that when some games launched on PC that were originally only PlayStation exclusives, like God of War or Spider Man, which were originally my PlayStation 5 exclusives. I own both games on Steam.
Yeah,
So, yeah, I definitely see this being them trying to do the same thing, but dropping developing consoles entirely.
Right.
That right there is more shocking than anything else. Like releasing other games on other platforms, man. Like other people have done that before, but not no more Xboxes. That's surprising right there.
I think they'll still make Xboxes, but to me, and this comes from someone who's mainly a console gamer, I don't want what if they're releasing games on another platform, then why do I have your platform? If you're releasing games on the PlayStation, why do I have your Xbox? I
Yeah,
want an Xbox to play Xbox games. And if you're just gonna release those games on the PlayStation, why
Why
would I
not
have your
Xbox?
PlayStation?
Or buy a PlayStation. Exactly. That's why
Yeah.
ultimately, like I've always said before, and both of you know this, that I've always said that ultimately it's going to come down to everything being released on PC and consoles will go away of the dinosaurs. The last holdout will be Nintendo. That's how it's going to come down. And this right here, this article is literally showing that Xbox is. And look, the next paragraph below, it says he explained that hardware sales have reportedly not met expectations despite Xbox offering the low-priced Series S and some excellent Series X sales as of late. He went on to add that the Xbox One is more in demand, and overall, the company is seeing hardware sales decline year on year. So you can see that they're literally looking at the numbers and going, "Damn, you know, making Xboxes is not worth it. Releasing games is, but making the console is not." So they're like, "Okay, we're gonna have to bite the bullet, drop the console, release games," and I'm sure Sony's going to end up doing the same goddamn thing. They're going to look at their numbers as well and say, well, people aren't buying the the PlayStation 5 Pro or whatever the hell comes out, or the PlayStation 6. They're like, people aren't buying the consoles, but they're still buying our games. Well, we're going to stop
Oh,
making
that's
PlayStations
different.
and just release games.
No.
wait,
So people are buying
wait,
PlayStation. People are buying PlayStation. No one's buying an Xbox. No one's buying Xboxes.
Well,
And that and
as
that's and
long
that's a problem.
as long as PlayStation games eventually get released on PC, that gap between the PlayStation release and the PC release will start to shrink to the point when then there's going to be simultaneous releases on both the console and the PC. The day that happens
Mhm.
is the day the PlayStation dies.
Yeah, I mean it'll be dead for me because I'm gonna get rid of mine if that happens.
Yeah, and that's coming in the future. Like this isn't like, oh, it's a maybe type of thing. Like this is literally the direction that everybody's going. Because if you really, really want to think about it, the hardware itself, both the Xbox, the PlayStation, or hell, even the Nintendo Switch, is just a fancy computer with one job. That's it. If you like, that's why I don't know if you guys remember this, but on the PlayStation 3, yes, that far back, the PlayStation 3 had an option under settings where it was called other OS. OS
Yeah.
stands for operating
People
system.
put
So you could
they
install
put Linux in
Linux.
there.
You can
Yeah.
install Linux onto your PlayStation 3 and then use it like a computer. You could even plug in a keyboard and mouse into the USB ports and use it like a computer. Surf the web, check your email, all the same stuff that you would use a home desktop for. You had it on your PlayStation 3. They got rid of that feature in a system update, but the hardware is still capable of that. The same is exactly the same with both the Xbox and PlayStations now, is that capability is still there. They're just specialized computers, but they're still computers. So there will be a day when one, the Xbox is gone, and two, the PlayStation console will stop to exist as well. And ultimately, the holdout will be Nintendo, but even they will have to succumb to PC.
Okay. Well, the thing is, I agree with having on what he said first. There's no point. Well, first off, I'm not supporting Xbox anyway. That company's dead to me. But here's the thing: there is absolutely no point of anybody, whether if you are a fanboy or not, to invest on the console where all of their AAA titles are going to be in other consoles. There's no point. It's a waste of money to purchase a console where all the other games are going to be on all the consoles. I'm saving money because I'm having it in both worlds. I'm gonna have a PlayStation that can play PlayStation games, third party games, and Xbox games. So your console is dead to me. It's useless. So I disagree. I don't. If Microsoft is gonna go full third party, for example, like how Sega is, there is no reason for them to continue to make Xbox consoles anymore. They're wasting their time and they're wasting gamers' time and their money if that's the direction that they're going to go.
Yep.
What's the point? There's no point. And the thing I disagree with you on, Seafree, is that I think out of the three companies, I think Nintendo is probably the safest one. With how
people are still buying Switches. People buying Switches, and their franchise Mario, Zelda, Smash, all that. Those games still have value.
Correct.
Those games still are system sellers. Microsoft games used to do that. Halo used to be a system seller. Gears used to be a system seller.
Especially Gears, yes.
Like they don't have that anymore. I don't like people can say what they want about Sea of Thieves. Like Sea of Thieves is not a system seller. I'm sorry, it's not. It may be a game that is doing well, but that's not a system seller.
Yeah, I don't think.
Yeah, go
ahead. Yeah, my bad. Go ahead.
The only system seller they have right now is COD and Minecraft. And guess what? Those games are still going to be on PlayStation.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because no matter how much those games do sell consoles, there's only so many people who want to buy that console. If you don't release Call of Duty on PlayStation, all you're doing is hurting Call of Duty. That's all you're doing. So you're taking away like 50 million PS5s out of the home, and and if people be like, oh, people are just gonna buy Xboxes, is that gonna be enough? Is Microsoft gonna sell enough Xboxes to compensate for the amount of money they're gonna lose on Call of Duty without the PlayStation audience? You know what I mean? Are they gonna be able to make up that money? And the answer is no. More than likely, no.
No.
That's why they offer 10-year deals to not only to Sony but to Nintendo to make Call of Duty on their platform to keep Call of Duty on those platforms, because they know, especially since they spent like $70 billion on Activision, that even though we could keep this game exclusive, if we do, then we're never gonna make our money back.
Right.
And to me, that I guess the part for me, because I'm gonna make a video on this tomorrow. I'm gonna try to make a full play video on this tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that I find hilarious about the whole thing. Now, I don't think it's a good thing that Microsoft is leaving the console market. I don't think that's a good thing. But what I find hilarious about this whole thing is that Microsoft and mainly their executives have made it their life goal, their mission, to cater to these Xbox fanboys on Twitter. They're the only group of executives that do that for their fan base. Right? They do these shows, they take pictures of these fanboys and all the other stuff, right? They're the only company that does it. Sony don't do it. Nintendo damn sure don't do it.
Yeah.
Right. And the amount of reaction that I've seen from these same guys, they act like they got portrayed. They act like Microsoft stabbed them in the back. And a part of me don't blame them because of the way that the executives treat them. They treat them like pawns. And then they're upset when they treat them like pawns. What's a pawn supposed to do? A pawn is supposed to sacrifice himself for the king and queen. And that's what they did. That's what they did. Because here's the thing: all this time, every time Microsoft decided to change the narrative, right? When they were getting crushed 2-1 in sales, then they stopped reporting sales numbers. What did the
Yeah.
fanboys do? What did the fanboys do? Say sales numbers don't matter.
Mm-hmm.
When they decided to do, we're going to do engagement, right? We're going to do how many players are playing games as the metric. What did the fanboys do? They said, "Oh, you see how many people are playing this game? How great that is! You know, that's better than selling like 5 million Spider-Man, right?" Any narrative that Microsoft came up with, they repeated. And now, since they can't damage control this, you can't damage control this. Now they feel betrayed. And the chickens came home to roost. Now again, I don't know what's going to be announced on Monday, or Monday or next week or whatever. I don't know what's going to be announced. But you can't tell me that them starting to put their games on competitive hardware is a good thing. Is a good thing for them, or it's a good thing for you as a fan, because it's not a good thing. Or if you're a fanboy, it's not a good thing. Be like, oh well, they make more money. I don't give a shit if they make more money. That's not my problem.
Yeah.
I don't see none of that money. People are like, oh, Microsoft's gonna make all this money. I'm like, why do you care? You're not seeing any of it. At the end of the day, you're a consumer at the end of the day. And that's what a lot of these Xbox fanboys finally decided to realize. You guys are consumers. You're not their friends. They're not your buddy. They're not your pals. You're nothing more than a dollar sign to them. And that's what they treated you as. They treated you guys as a dollar sign. They treated you guys as fucking as insiders. They made you guys feel good about, oh, I get to talk to Phil Spencer. That means I get to get review copies, or I get to go to Seattle and play on the latest games. I get all these perks. They treated you like you guys were important.
Yeah.
But you guys are not important. All you guys were pawns. That's all you guys were. You guys were pawns. But I'll talk more about that on Monday or tomorrow. I'll talk more about that tomorrow.
Yeah. Look, Microsoft should have. Look, Microsoft. To me, a part of the reason why they're doing this is, I believe. Now, look, this is just speculation, but I think a part of the reason, and I think I said this, but a part of the reason why I think they're doing this is because they know that they can't compete with Sony and Nintendo anymore. They know they can't compete against them. They are the ones that's and you have to remember, when I was on the assumption that one of the reasons why that they were probably going to remain in the console market was one of the reasons that you had said years ago, Huvvi, and when you claimed that it's all Microsoft's fault that why we are paying for PlayStation Online and for Nintendo Online. You blame Microsoft for that. Microsoft made a ton of money. They were already ahead of the online space. You know what I'm saying? And with all the games that they had in the beginning, when they for example, like when they had exclusive games like BioShock and Mass Effect, like things was like you could see a good future for Microsoft is what I'm trying to say. Like they were heading in the right direction. They were. And to me, it felt like they just got lost as they were at least trying to keep pace with PlayStation. Because if you remember, they went to the freaking, DRM route, and then you saw how people went crazy when they did that. You saw how people went crazy when they were trying to force that freaking stupid Connect, because they wanted to copy, Nintendo. They wanted to force, they tried to force Connect, down our throats. To me, Microsoft was just constantly making all these mistakes where they had everything perfectly set in place. They had great exclusive games. As long as you had that, you were golden. You were good. Your online was phenomenal. Xbox Live to me, in my opinion, was king when it comes to online out of the three. You had great games. You had exclusive games. That's why people cared about the Xbox brand. That's why I love the 360 so much, far better than the PlayStation 3. I had games and I was constantly online because the online was good. But now all you're doing now is just constantly betraying your fan base. You're betraying your fan base by bringing all your exclusive titles, to other platforms. You're betraying your fan base because now you're heading more toward digital instead of having physical. And I don't care what anybody says. The people that are supporting Xbox Game Pass, I guarantee you there's a load of people who would still prefer the physical media over, especially the people who are our age. I'm pretty sure they actually prefer physical media because from what I've been hearing, a lot of the physical games that they have, they're still selling anyway. They're still selling. You if What
Not for
happened?
long. Not for long.
No, here's what I'm saying. Tell me if this makes sense. If you are offering Game Pass to people, and then you want to give people access to all your triple A games day one, if you are still seeing people buying your physical games, and you're still making a huge profit out of it, in all honesty, it really makes no sense for you to abandon that market.
Are they making a lot of money off of it? Because
As
if
far
they did, they wouldn't be doing this. If they were making a shit ton of money off of game sales, then Game Pass would not exist. At least not in the way that it is now.
are you projecting that they've been losing money as far as game sales is concerned?
Yeah, the Xbox division doesn't make them that much money, if at all makes them money. That's why this whole thing is happening now. Trust me, on multiple occasions, they Microsoft has struggled. The Xbox division has struggled to make Microsoft money.
Really here? But I
Yeah,
thought that was like in Japan and places like that.
no, I mean it does the best here, but in general, there been several times that they've been close to shutting down the Xbox division.
hmm, I didn't
So
I did not know. I thought they were doing perfectly fine here in the United.
no, like during the 360 era, yeah, but when the thing is that when the Connect was the thing that they hitched their wagon onto, and that didn't go well.
Yeah.
Then and then it just went downhill from there, and they never recovered from that. They never recovered,
Okay.
and that's why and Game Pass is essentially their end game. And I'll say, and this is something that we will probably won't see this result for like a decade.
Hmm.
But if Game Pass does not reach the number that they wanted to reach, then they're going to leave gaming altogether.
Whoa. Whoa, now that's bold right there. You actually believe that? That they're gonna
Yeah.
just abandon gaming completely?
They'll sell off the rights to Activision or whatever, and they'll leave gaming. They'll leave gaming.
Wow.
I,
Wow.
I can definitely see that happening. Like at a certain point, if something's not making you money, if you're not profiting from it, then why do it? They're going to end up dropping it entirely. And if gaming becomes that for Microsoft, then Microsoft will drop the Xbox brand and everything associated with it, all associated studios, and basically say, who wants this? Go into the highest bidder. And that's
Yeah,
it.
they'll start selling off like franchises and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But like I said, I think if anything, that'll probably be like 10, 12 years down the road.
Oh, yeah, no, this is definitely not something that's going to happen in the immediate future. We're talking about like further on down the line, for sure.
Yeah, right. Because you see what's going on with Embracer Group, right? A couple years ago, they made a big acquisition to buy all these. I think they bought the American version, the American wing of Square,
Hmm.
and one by one they closed down studios, cancel games left and right. They're selling off studios and publishers, and it's been a disaster.
Yeah.
Been a disaster, and I think if Microsoft doesn't reach the numbers that they want, then they're gonna do the same thing.
Agreed, for
They're
sure.
gonna do. I mean, if you guys have anything else to say, like I said, I'll do more. I'll do more on this tomorrow.
Mhm.
But if you guys have anything else to say, if not, then we can move on to the last topic.
You have any last words on Seafring about this?
No, not at all. I think everything that has been said could be said so far, at least until we get more information once all this stuff actually comes to light.
Yeah. We need more information. Like we don't like I said, we don't know. We don't even know if any of these games are going to be made public. But I do think that I mean, when there's smoke, there's fire,
Yep.
and I don't see how there's no way that all these insiders could be wrong.
Wow.
There's no
Yeah.
way all these insiders could be
It
wrong.
makes sense. I mean,
Yeah.
that many people just can't be wrong at the same time,
And
especially if they have the exact same story.
exactly, and Microsoft had hinted at this too. Remember a couple weeks ago we talked about Tim Stewart in that Wells Fargo conference, him saying that they look at a future beyond platform exclusivity. He
Mm.
said it. Xbox fanboys were in denial, and Phil Spencer went on the Xbox fanboy website and pretty much damage control. He pretty much damage control. But they've been hinting at this for the longest time. It just people just decided not to listen until it was too late.
Yep.
So, all
Well,
right, Ruben said
look,
crazy.
this is. Oh, go my bad. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead. Say what you gotta say.
No, I was just gonna say like, it is. I do feel bad for the Xbox fanboys if this is the
I don't.
direction. Well, the only reason why I do is because I remember how you were really really upset when PlayStation was bringing a lot of their games over to PC, and you said pretty much the same thing. Like, I don't want to have a console if you're just going to move all your games to another platform. That ruins the value of your console, or it pretty much ruined the value that of the console that you have. There's really no point to invest in it if I could just invest in something else that will have your games. So yeah, of
Yep.
course, I feel bad for the Microsoft fanboys because they're going through the exact same thing that you don't want for the PlayStation brand.
But the problem is that like they were going through this long before. Like remember the first game. Now again, they've released games on PC before, but the first game part of their new Play Anywhere initiative that did that was Quantum Break, where it came out, it was announced that it came out, it was going to come out on PC, and Xbox fanboy weren't happy about it.
Yeah,
They were not happy about it, but what did they do? They bent the knee and they decided to be okay with it. They were okay with it
Mhm.
to the point where that Pokemon game with guns, like people bragging about that game doing numbers on Steam.
hmm
Xbox is bragging about that, and I'm like, why are you guys bragging about a game doing well on Steam? That don't make no sense to me. You're not. That's not what you're referencing. You're referencing Xbox.
right.
Made no sense. But I mean, it is what it is. All right, Ruben said crazy because I'm very much enjoying my Series X. Mino, shut your ass up. Joking, nice stream. Thank you for joining
Uh,
us.
for joining us,
And,
Mino. Appreciate you, brother.
and Mama Pam. Hello and blessings. Yes, same to you.
Mama Pan. That's a very funny name. But hey, thank you for joining us, Mama Pan. We got some newbies up in here. Awesome.
So,
Oh, and by the way, for those of you who are here and that are watching us, once again, thank you. If you could give us a real quick like and subscribe if you haven't, that'll be awesome. Because again, we're still new. We're trying to come back, and we would love if you could give us some support. That would be awesome. Go ahead, Ubi.
and as you can see here, Overrated Podcast. That's the Discord link. If you want to join our Discord, you can do that.
Absolutely.
Now,
okay.
all right. So we do have one more topic left, right? And this is regarding Vince McMahon.
Oh man.
Now, there is something else that I wanted to. Let me just talk about this real quick. Now, I made a video regarding Cody Rhodes, right? And about how he got screwed out of a title match against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. Now, apparently that has been rectified. So I'm not going to mention that part of it, right? But apparently that's been rectified. So that's a good thing. But the Vince McMahon stuff is important because one, he even though he still owns a percentage of the company, he's pretty much all but gone. He's gone.
Yeah, he still owns majority of it. I think he does.
No, not majority. He owns like I think 11%. Yeah, I think he owns like 11%.
Oh, okay.
But the thing is that he's gone, and the reason why he's gone is because a year ago, when everything came out about him, and remember when he retired the first time, they had discovered that he had a bunch of NDAs that he had people sign to kind of hide from, to keep everything private between their relationship, right? Whether working or sexual or whatever, right? One of the women who signed the NDAs, I think her name Janelle Grant, she I guess you could say reneged on that NDA by pretty much exposing and filing a suit against WWE and Vince McMahon. Now the suit is 67 pages long, and the one and the incident that she recalls on Vince McMahon, not only Vince, but she also mentioned John Laurinaitis, who is Vince McMahon's talent. You used to be the what's that term called? Talent relations. I think that's what it's called. But he's also former wrestler. Married. I think he married to you heard of the Bella twins, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's married. He was married to their mother, and apparently there was a lot of nasty shit going down, including an incident where apparently during a threesome, he shat in her in her hair, some bullshit like that. This disgusting shit, very nasty, disgusting stuff, right? And I believe the FBI is investigating because I guess there are charges of sex trafficking because apparently he tried to pass her off to Brock Lesnar, and that was crazy, and he apparently tried to pass her off to other people in the company as well.
Huh.
Now you ask yourself, and I kind of know where you're gonna go with this, Steve. I know our mutual friend Ryan Meadows, he mentioned this as well. Now I want to stop you from I want to tell you this because I want to caution you by saying that the reason why this is all coming out now is because Vince McMahon stopped paying her when it comes to the NDA. They agreed to pay a certain amount, and he stopped paying her. So it would be one thing if she did this out of the blue while he was still paying her, then I can understand you guys' point. I can understand. Now it doesn't make what he did any more disgusting. It makes it every bit disgusting what he did. Because what he essentially did, he took advantage of someone who was vulnerable. Because her story was that she was living in a place, she had incurred debt because both her parents were ill at the time. And as someone who's dealing with ill parents as well, it is a financial burden and it's an emotional burden. And he used that as a way to coerce her to get a job at WWE, which is a high paying job. All right, let me read this. You don't have to uphold NDAs when serious crime is committed. He should have kept paying her. All right, we'll get to that in a second, Ruben. We'll get to that in a second. Now, what he did, he pretty much gave her a job at WWE, a job that she wasn't qualified for, in favor for sexual favors. Right? And when she stopped wanting to do those sexual favors, she lost her job. But in order for her to keep her finances in check, obviously they signed an NDA. And it's one of the many NDAs this dude has signed. And the only reason why, and again, I'm going to repeat this again, the only reason why he's exposing him now is because he stopped paying her. He stopped paying her. So if he had kept paying her, then none of this would have happened. So, I mean, what do you have to say?
Okay. Listen. We all know that what Vince McMahon has done over the years has been bizarre. And I honestly believe, and look, I don't want to veer off, of this topic, but we've seen in the past, since we were children, right? Since I was a kid, or I shouldn't say when I was a kid, but middle school, high school, I have noticed that over the years, especially when I look back at now, there were some weird scripted things that were happening in the ring. I'm talking about stuff that was, on camera.
Mm-hmm.
Whether if it was like the bikini match. It was called Brands and Panties match, something like that. I forgot what it was called. Yeah, Braun and Panties match. How the women was extremely sexualized. I remember there was like a pudding match. I forgot, or mud, type of match. I forgot who the two women were, but you had situations like that. You had the skit with Edge and Lita having sex in the ring. You had situations like it was just very weird, unusual stuff that happened. Now I have a couple of clips that I want to share, but before I do, what I want to say is that a lot of these weird things that has happened on camera, I'm pretty sure there's been more weird stuff that has happened backstage, off camera. I'm pretty sure a lot of crazy stuff that we don't know about yet has happened, and I'm pretty sure maybe one day it'll come out in the open. Here's the thing.
I don't know if it gets weirder than shitting on someone's hair.
Maybe you're probably right. But here's the thing that I want to say. I'm not excusing what Vince McMahon has done. I'm not excusing him. I think what he did was awful, and I think how he manipulated this girl and took advantage of her. And I've heard he done this to other girls also, other female athletes or divas. They used to be called back then. Yeah, I've heard a lot of that stuff, and I have stuff to say about that too. But here's what I'm going to say right here. If you are going to make a deal with the devil, expect bad things to happen to you. You're not living in a utopia knowing that you're going to have to give somebody extra quote unquote favors, and yet you still decide to take the money and you still decide to stay in dealing with with this man or whatever other guy that he offered you to or whatever, passing you around. If you continue to say yes to these things, then look, you could still talk crap about Vince McMahon all you want, but I don't want to hear all this stuff that all these people are saying and all over YouTube and all over social media, feeling bad for her. Oh, well, what she went through was so bad and so awful. Yes, it's so bad and so awful, but why did you accept it? If you knew that this was going to be bad, you leave. Go to the authorities, sue the guy, but yet you neglected to stay. And you decided to take the money day after day, year after year. I don't know what the frequency was of how he was paying her, but yeah, you continue to take the money. You continue to do these services. Yes, again, it's bad what this man has done. It's bad that he has, a crazy cuckoo mind to even offer these services to people. But if you are going to accept these services, I'm not going to, sit here and call you, a victim because you accepted it. You accepted it. This is not this is not a situation to what happened with I forgot that chick's name. We talked about this. The one that was in that plane. God, what was her name?
I forgot her name, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's not a situation like that where she was being harassed by a bunch of dudes, or let's say if somebody is forcing or raped her or groping her. Like if you are taking money, you pretty much essentially agreed to the extra services. So I'm not I can't roll 100% on her side because remember this is still allegedly. We don't have 100% official proof of all the things that she's accusing him of.
I'm glad you said that because there's more.
Oh, there's more.
Now,
Okay.
one of the guys who were implicated in this was John Laurinaitis, like I said. Right now, mind you, John Laurinaitis and Vince McMahon been friends forever. But in his statement, he never denied that anything she said was true. Never denied it. Never denied anything that she said was false or a lie or nothing like that. He never denied anything.
Okay.
What he said is that he too was a victim of Vince McMahon. Now, I personally think he's bullshitting when it comes to him being a victim. But with that said, he never denied anything she said was false. He's saying that him, along with her, were victims of Vince McMahon and his sexual depravity.
That he was a victim. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That's okay. Keyword there. Okay.
Now, here's the thing.
Okay. It sounds like this is going to get worse. Go ahead.
Oh no, it is going to get. Hopefully, it gets worse. And the reason why I say hopefully is because people like Vince McMahon, he'll go to jail for what he's done. And we're talking about like everything that he's done. And trust me, he's gone after the federal government before. He's gone up against the federal government before. Remember the whole steroid trial.
Okay, yeah.
And trust me. The one thing that the government don't like doing, they don't like losing. Especially to a guy who's gloated about winning. And if they got something on you, they're coming after you. They're gonna come after you. Ruben, I don't know if you may be right, but if she's accusing him of sex trafficking, then wouldn't it be upgraded to a criminal case if that was the case? Because I think the FBI raided his home already.
Yeah. I think Ruben is right. It's not criminal, so there's not going to be a trial. There's not going to be a jury or anything.
But here's the thing: if she's not just going after Vince McMahon, she's going after the whole company. Because she's saying that there are other executives in there that are doing or that did her wrong. So she's going after the whole company. And the way that that I saw it explained is that there's gonna be more than just Vince McMahon's head that's gonna roll in there. That's why The Rock is back, and that's why Rock is part of the board now, because it's what he's there to do is to provide goodwill to the company. Right? So he did provide goodwill to the company.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, so Ruben said, let me see. If she said she offered up and nobody took it, is it really sex trafficking? If he's passing her along like she's some type of hooker, then it definitely is sex trafficking. No, she didn't. No, she didn't sleep with him, but she would offer sex with him through Vince McMahon. Attempted sex trafficking. Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. If you're attempting to do it, then as far as I'm concerned, you're doing it. If you're attempting to do it, then you're doing it. If you're attempting to sell your kid to the dark market, that means you're doing it.
Mhm.
If you're attempting to murder somebody, that you might as well say you're doing it. Yeah, if you're attempting to do something, that means you're trying to do it.
Yeah, but
And if
that's
you're
the
trying to
difference
do
with the
something,
legal system. It's
yeah,
the like it. This I've had to like explain to people many different times. A person dies, right, and they were killed by another person. If you do it either accidentally or in like while you're going about your day, like let's say you do it accidentally, you accidentally kill somebody, you run over somebody with your car, but you do everything you can, the most that they can get you is like manslaughter or something like
yeah,
that. It would never be murder. The difference
yeah,
between that and murder is the intent.
yeah,
That's the difference. That's a big difference between a lesser crime and the more serious version of that same crime. In this case, that's basically like what the difference is. Like, yeah, they may have attempted sex trafficking, but the intent was to sex traffic.
yeah,
So they might as well have done it.
yeah. So to me, like the way that everything's going, that there's gonna be heads that's gonna roll in this, and that could include someone like a Triple H, who's head of creative right now. It could involve him too. Hey, what's going on with me? How you doing? So like I said before, man,
What's up? What's up?
like I said before, like I hope he gets the just. Yeah, I hope he gets the justice that he deserves. I hope he does. I hope he gets all the justice that he deserves. So I mean, I mean, you guys, if you have an opinion on it, you can say your
No, no, no.
opinion.
I got. Yeah, yeah. Trust me. I have more. Here, okay. Vince McMahon. You know what? And I'm going to sit here and say that I do believe something went on with Vince McMahon and this chick and multiple people. Now look, I don't want to give a history lesson here, but I will read at least one paragraph. Actually, it's actually less than a paragraph. It's actually less than a paragraph. But let me read this real quick. I think it's this one. Okay. Let's go back in time real quick, everybody. Real quick. Can you see this real quick on movie? Can everyone see this?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Now, I don't know if this stuff is true. So I did some digging. And there was an interview, and I'm gonna play that also. I'm gonna play the interview also, where Vince McMahon was talking about how he was sexually abused as a child. And look, and this was very disturbing even for me.
Yeah.
This was disturbing for me. Now, it says here, if you didn't think by now that a young Vince McMahon had it rough, this might sway you. Not only was he beaten as a child. Now, when it comes to him being beaten as a child, I was reading like several articles. He was abused by his stepfather.
Mm-hmm.
And by him being abused, by his by his stepfather, he even made the claim that his stepfather had died, and he had said the only thing that he wished or that he regret was that he wasn't able to kill him first, or he wasn't able, like, that was just really crazy when Vincent Mann had said that. He wished that he had the opportunity, to kill him. That's how much he was constantly abused, because he was constantly seeing his mother getting beat up by this guy. But let's continue on. But he was also sexually abused. Vincent had never come outright and said what happened, but he has mentioned being sexually abused in the past in interviews. And I'm going to play these interviews real soon. But here are a couple of quotes, because he had an interview with Playboy magazine. And in Playboy magazine, the interviewer said, was the abuse all physical, or was there sexual abuse too? Vince said, that's not anything I would like to embellish, just because it was weird. The interviewer said, did it come from the same man? No, it wasn't. Vince said, it wasn't from the male. Okay. This is the part where it got really disturbing for me. We can leave that topic, but one last thing first. You said the sexual abuse in your childhood wasn't from the male. It's well known that you're estranged from your mother. Have we found the reason? And he said, without saying that, I'd say that's pretty close. Now, I tried to find, more articles, but apparently what I have found out later on was that he was being sexually abused. He was getting pretty much physically abused by the stepfather and sexually abused by his mom. Now, why am I sharing this, back? Why am I sharing Vince McMahon's past? Over the years, the consensus has always been, when somebody is sexually abused as a kid, if they don't seek help, if they don't seek any type of therapy, more than likely, I'm not saying this is for everybody, but for most people, most likely what's going to happen is they are going to sexually abuse somebody else when they're older. Now, I'm not saying this was the cause of it. All I'm saying is, based on history and based of all the people who has been victims, the victimizer has been the victim when he or she was a kid as well. Now, again, I shared in this podcast a while ago when I myself was, I mean, Huvvi claimed it was sexually abusive when the fourth grader got on top of me and did whatever she wanted to do with me, etc., etc. I think I was in the first or second grade. That happened to me. If it wasn't for my parents, if it wasn't for me going to church, getting, like seeking God, I don't know what would have happened to me if I didn't have the love from my parents and not being abused by other people and things like that in that nature. I think I got the help from going the church school and things of that nature. I think that's probably what helped me along the way, that why I didn't go crazy right now. So it was fortunate for me. But from what I can tell, based on what happened to Vince McMahon when he was a kid, there's no doubt in my mind, in retrospect, but by looking back for what happened to him and what happened to other people in the past, there's no doubt in my mind that he has sexually abused not just Janelle, but other women in the WWE. I think he has. I honestly believe Vince McMahon needs help. I honestly believe Vince McMahon should have gotten help, because as soon as he became CEO of that company, because I think the company used to be called CWC or something like that, or
Capital Championship, or something like that.
Yeah.
His father owned the company.
Correct. Yes. So he had all the resources that he could possibly, with all the money that this dude had, he could have easily seeking help if he wanted to, but he chose not to. I never seen any track record of him claiming that he went to therapy, that he needed help, because again, he always wanted to avoid interviews talking about his childhood because he had a bad childhood. I get it, I understand, but the thing is, I constantly say this so many times when I have these disputes and arguments with people. I'm not saying that the victimizer is is um is free of guilt, or he or she is absolved for the crime that they committed. But once again, when they become victims as a child, you need to seek help as quickly as possible, because otherwise you're just going to create more victims, and the cycle is going to continue on again and again to the next generation. You know what I'm saying? So I feel bad what happened to Vince McMahon when he was a child. It's the key word, when he was a child. But because this happened to him, I truly believe that he did all of these awful things to these women and to men. Matter of fact, I'm gonna. There've been a lot of weird stuff that's been going on, like with Pat Patterson, with how people like he offered like other like young men to Pat Patterson. I don't know how true that is, but the fact that everything has constantly been sexual when it comes to Vince McMahon. Everything, all the crimes, all the allegations, the suing, it's it's all sex related. It's constantly been sex related, and seeing all the stuff that you see in the ring, him making out with Trish Stratus in front of in front of Linda McMahon. I don't know if you remember that. I don't know if you remember that movie when Linda McMahon was on the wheelchair and he starts making out with Trish Stratus, starts making out with Sable. Like it's just constant sexual activity.
He wanted to do an incest angle with Stephanie.
Oh, I remember that. I think I remember that too. Stephanie talked about that, and she said no. And to me, when you look at all the track record and everything that has happened in recent history, there's got to be something that had happened off camera. If you are able to do this nasty type of stuff on camera, there's you have got to be doing something off camera. And right now, he's getting exposed by it. He's absolutely getting exposed, and it's sad. It's really sad because I honestly believe more people are going to be coming out eventually. But the thing is, now that all the people who's been really close to Vince McMahon, they're not talking. They're not talking.
You know why? Is because what are they gonna say in his defense? One of his biggest allies already turned on him.
Say that again.
One of his biggest allies already turned on him. John Laurinaitis already turned on him. Like he's done for, man. He's done for.
See, Frank, I'm very. Oh, go ahead. My bad. Go ahead.
And all this because he decided not to pay that woman. All this because he got lazy with NDA payment.
See, Frank, I know you probably have something to say. Anything?
This entire situation, for everyone involved, even those who we may not really think about as part of this, everyone involved is in some way, shape, or form both involved and a victim of something, whether it's direct or indirect. And it's unfortunate because this form of entertainment is what it is, provides entertainment for a lot of people. I mean, you see some of these events that occur on TV, some of the bigger pay-per-view type events, even more people, the glamour, the show, everything. And you think, if this is what's coming out now, involving just a small group of people, imagine everything else that's going on. And you really got to stop and think, like, is it still worth supporting? Is it still worth going out to these shows and taking it in?
Oh, trust me. Trust me.
This is going on.
I don't want to interrupt. Trust me, people are still going to support this company, and people are still going to watch. I guarantee it.
Oh, that much I know because
This
I already see it. But at the same time, like really, you look at everything that's happening right now, everything that's coming to light, and this is just a small part of it. I I think this is going to be more than anything else. This is going to be opening a floodgate, and we're going to start to see more and more and more come out, and it's none of it's going to be good. It's all going to be bad. I promise you.
um, Huvvi, okay, I probably should have asked you before. Do you by any chance do you have the text messages?
I don't know if they've been made public. Let me see. Let me see if I can find an article. 'Cause I don't think they've been made public, but um, yeah, they if they say what they're saying it said, it's disgusting.
This is one that I was able to find. Um, okay, I think it's safe to share this. Like, I think it's safe to share this. This is if you thought this was bad, you thought what I shared so far was bad. Let's look at this real quick. All right, so this was on Twitter. Again, I don't know if this is 100% true or not. But by the way, this is the chick Janelle Grant, right? I think this is the chick Janelle Grant. And let me see. Okay, so I don't know where he got this text message from, but he claimed that this is the I think this is Vince McMahon messaging uh, uh um Janelle Grant. So I'm trying to see if I could read this good. So he says, "Your last picture."
Bro, you don't have to read this.
You don't need to read that.
Okay,
We can
okay,
see it.
okay, okay. I mean, I was like, you don't have to. And look, I'm not. Look, it was just funny how you reacted. For those of you who can't see it, maybe it's better that you probably can't see it. But
Much
listen,
better.
this is very disturbing. Um, this dude has demons that he needs to get rid of. I think he has a lust issue that he needs to resolve. And I also believe that he, again, he needs help, bro. This dude need massive, massive help. If all the text messages that I been hearing all over social media, all over YouTube, were all true and it truly came from him, all of that disgusting stuff that he's been saying to these women, bro, it's just too bizarre. It's disturbing. How in the world are you able to sleep at night knowing that you are constantly making women uncomfortable in your presence? How?
I I think it's because for a guy like him, this is normal. It may not be normal for the rest of us, but for him in his eyes, this is normal. In his own messed up way, this is normal for him, and that's uh, part of what it is to be a broken person. Is you see the extremes as normal, and you carry on that way day in and day out. So he probably figures, yeah, this is perfectly normal. I'm just going to text this girl this ridiculous paragraph of all types of wild stuff. And yeah, that's perfectly normal. I'm just going to send that real quick and let me move on to the next one and do the exact same thing. Like for him, this is normal.
Uh, uh, having all, what else do you have to say, bro? Like, do you believe that everything she's saying is true? By the way,
I don't see why she would be lying. Even if half the stuff is true, to me, that's enough for him to fucking go to jail, in my opinion. But like I said, I don't know if it's a criminal case or a civil case. But it's awful either way. It's disgusting either way.
Um,
It
so,
is what it is. It is what it is.
It's crazy, no matter what.
okay, let me.
Oh, crap, he ended himself.
Yeah, he let me and himself.
All right. While we wait for him to get back, let me read these two comments. He said, "I would hope that she is a victim. She just compensated. But if it goes criminal, FBI is going to have a hell of a time proving it.
Exactly.
And I can't see on my phone screen. It's okay, bro. You're good.
Yeah, you don't want to see
You
that.
don't need.
No, yeah,
But on that note,
like
let's get out of here.
there's one last thing, and then we could call it a night.
Mhm.
I do want to share. Let me see if it's right here. Okay, yeah, here it is. All right, so this is what really pissed me off, and now it doesn't say that he's guilty. I'm not saying that. Look, I truly believe that due process still needs to take place, and
Mhm. Yeah.
and I understand that we have to wait. But when he said this in one of the interviews, pissed me off. Now I did a couple of slides, they're only like 5 seconds long, but this really pissed me off. Let me see if I could share it. Let me see, share screen, share. Oh, share entire screen. Okay. Share. Okay. Yeah. My bad, guys. My bad. Hang on a second. Okay, can you guys see this?
Mhm.
Okay. Hopefully it'll play, but this is like it's very small. So hopefully hopefully it'll play right. Let me see. Full screen preview. Okay.
Oh, I just seen this recently.
Oh, you saw this? Okay.
Do you believe that sexual harassment exists in your workplace? I believe that there's a possibility of sexual harassment existing everywhere.
Stop right there. Stop right there. Stop right there. He asked you if there's sexual activity in your workplace. He asked you about your workplace. He's asked you about your business, and your response is, "Oh, well, there's sexual, stuff that happens. Oh, everywhere." Okay, even though that is 100% true, because I've been around at several jobs, and yes, girls have come up to me and telling me, and matter of fact, this happened recently when I told you about Huvvi when I used to work at that pizza place. I'm not going to say it here, where people had came up with two girls came up to me and said that this guy kept on staring at me, making me uncomfortable, blah 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 blah. Like girls have come to me multiple times before. In this interview, now although it's old, your response is, well, there's sexual stuff that happens in other companies. Like, wait, like seriously, bro, you got to be kidding me. Like that shouldn't be your response. Your response should have been, if that whatever is going on in my company, if something has happened, I am going to make sure that it doesn't happen. I am going to make sure that my company is going to be a safe place for both men and women. Not
But wait a minute
go ahead,
before
go
you
ahead.
continue. Think for a second. Why do you think he answered like that?
I think he answered like that to avoid the actual question.
No. Well, yeah, to avoid the question, but why is he avoiding the question? Why is he trying to not directly answer that question? Given how old this clip is, because it looks old as shit.
Oh, trust me, this clip is old. This clip is
Yeah.
very old. Look how young
So
he looks.
yeah, exactly. So why do you think he went out of his way to avoid the question with that answer? Why?
because something is probably going on in his company.
Exactly. Been happening. Probably since day one. Probably been happening. Given everything that we've learned so far about what's been going on now, the fact that anybody could even think that it only just recently started or started within the past, 15, 20 years or whatever, like, no, this guy's been in business for a much longer time. There's a very, very high likelihood that this has been going on for much longer, probably from even before this clip even came out. As he's speaking right now, he is probably going through his mind, like, damn, let me think of the most PC answer I can think of to not draw attention to myself. And all he did was do the opposite.
Yeah. Now let me play the next clip and then we'll call it a night.
I asked directly if it was in the World Wrestling Federation. My organization. I don't want it.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to this guy. This guy's good.
WWE boss Vince McMahon has resigned following sex trafficking allegations from a former employee. You may have heard about the shocking sex abuse lawsuit being leveled at WWE boss Vince McMahon by a former employee. The scandal couldn't come at a worse time as the WWE signed a massive $5 billion deal with Netflix. So much is on the line. Everyone at the WWE has reportedly been told to not say.
Couldn't complete his desires. He got really angry, started ripping off my jeans, pulled me on top of him, and told me again, if I wanted a $500,000 contract, I had to satisfy him. He could make me or break me, and if I didn't satisfy him, I was blackballed.
Okay. I just want to say this one last thing, and then we could go because it just gets crazier. But I don't think I could go any further. But it does get crazier. Over the years, I've been hearing things about Vince McMahon of people going forward. Like there was an article. I don't have time to read the article because it's getting late. But I read an article where I think it was Tori Wilson, how she said that Vince McMahon had approached her like very unprofessionally when she was in her bikini. I think this was after her bikini match or bikini contest or whatever. Heaven, you probably heard of this story.
Yeah.
And listen, bro, if you are going to put all of your divas in uncomfortable situations, and to the point where, and dude, I found this out today about Stephanie McMahon. Do you remember the scene where Eric Bischoff had kissed her? I don't know if you remember that scene.
Yeah.
That scene, Eric Bischoff actually had an interview, and he said that Vince was right there next to the camera directing the whole entire thing. And by the way, she's not only she was married to Triple H already at the time.
Mm-hmm.
She was already married with Triple H at the time. You are putting all this stuff not only with your co-workers, but even your own family. You putting them, you want them to do all these weird, freaky, unusual, abnormal activities. And I cannot believe he actually made it this far. I cannot believe that all these allegations are coming out now. And look, as far as being a family member, I could understand your son, your daughter, whoever, your uncles, whatever, cousins. I understand that they want to keep quiet. Look, they're your family. I understand it completely that why they're not going to say anything or if they're not going to cooperate. I understand why Triple H doesn't want to cooperate. I get it. But dude, like in all seriousness, if you're working for a company for all these years, I'm talking about everybody else now. If you're working for a company for all these years and you see this guy day after day creating more victims year after year, how are you able to sleep at night? How the hell are all these wrestlers that's participating, all these people in the locker rooms? I'm talking about executives. I'm talking about the refs. I'm talking about the wrestlers. I'm talking about the cameramen. I'm talking about everybody that works for that organization. I'm talking about everybody that works in that organization. You mean to tell me that nobody wants to say anything? Nobody. Go ahead, Seafreen.
I might be able to shed some light on that. You got to think about it like this. He created an industry of people who are good at what they do. They're skilled. But if you really look at it, their skill set is very limited. Like what they know how to do, can't be applied in other trades. Like you're not going to be a former wrestler and then turn around and go do something else and be successful at it. And if you are, it's going to take a greater time and effort than it would just to stay a wrestler.
You have to start over pretty much.
A full start over, exactly. And at the end of the day, his name is on the checks. And so now people are weighing like, damn, do I shoot my boss in the back and lose my entire livelihood, forcing me to start over from scratch? Or do they shut their mouth and collect the paycheck? And I think that's what it's coming down to. The few that are able to speak are either have reached their boiling point, or they have something else on the side saying, okay, I can afford to lose this job at the WWE because I have something else to support me. How many of them can say that?
Yeah, that's a very good point. That's a very good point because you can't say, well, because when it comes to wrestling, you don't really have that many options. Like you have WWE, you have TNA. I mean, what else is out there that you have that you have where you could be successful?
Well, look at the few wrestlers that were able to transition to something else. The Rock became a movie star, right? He's one guy. John Cena tried it, and at first he kind of fumbled a little bit, but he found his niche, and now he's starting to get popular in films, which is great for him because he's good in the things that he's been in. He's been very good in them. But outside of those two, like everybody else, they've tried to essentially escape this lifestyle, and they can't, because ultimately these skills that they have, that they've developed over many years, do not translate well into other avenues that could even come close to paying as much as what they're making right now. It's just not going to happen. So again, the decision comes down: do I shoot my boss in the back and lose the work, or do I just cut the paycheck and keep my damn mouth shut? And a lot of them, you can see it right now, they're not talking.
Well, I think you're 100% right, but I forgot who. Now that he's gone, I am going to predict that if people are not going to be cooperating, because I think doesn't TKO or whatever company also has part of WWE now?
Yeah. Merger.
Yeah, merger. Yeah, the merger. I don't know. I think there's a possibility that I don't know who else is going to mainly be in charge. Something tells me that very, very soon they're just going to clean house.
It depends. It depends. If he names more names and all the other stuff, and there's more people linked, then yeah, that's gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, I think it's going to happen regardless because you have people who just doesn't want to cooperate, and I don't think and I'm pretty sure that TKO doesn't want that. I'm pretty sure these people doesn't want that, and I even heard that I think even Slim Jim, I think they terminated.
They almost did.
Oh, they almost did. Oh, I thought they did.
No, they were close to it. Then McMahon resigned, and then they stayed on board.
Oh, okay. So they decided to say,
But like I said, but when the money starts leaving, that's when action takes place.
Hmm.
The reason why, and we mentioned Dana White. The reason why nothing happened to Dana White is because the money didn't go. There was no backlash to it. The backlash was only to people who saw him be a fucking hypocrite about the situation.
mm-hmm.
It wasn't sponsored. Sponsors didn't care. TKO didn't care. No, it is what it is.
No, okay.
Hmm.
Well,
But
yeah.
yeah.
Go ahead.
What?
Chief.
No. Just agreeing with you guys. Like once the money's gone, everybody's going to start singing a different tune.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And look, yeah, I mean, there's so many slides here. I can't play all of this. Like it's too much. There's screenshots here. It's late. It's almost 12 o'clock. I can't play all of this stuff, unfortunately. Um, but I guess the last thing I want to say is that I do think Vince McMahon. I think his life. I'm not gonna say his life is over. Like that dude is still a billionaire anyway. I think financially he'll be fine. Do I think he's going to go to jail? No, I don't. As long as this stays as a civil lawsuit, I think they're just gonna settle. He's gonna give whatever money, and she'll be fine. And I think he's going to be fine. He's going to be fine.
Probably.
But again, with everything that I have seen in the ring, and the reason why I have this slide right here is because it once again it's proof. When you did now, see, Frank, I don't know if you remember this because you said you watched back in the day. This
I
is
remember this guy. Yeah.
this in this clip right here was when Vince McMahon had implemented this stupid, kiss my ass club, crap, that he did. I remember when I was a kid, I said like, what the hell is this? What the hell am I watching? This is what I was thinking as me being a kid. Watching this stuff, here now confirms what I thought about Vince McMahon, that he just has a very odd, gruesome, grotesque, type of mind.
Right.
Which is why I think he honestly, I honestly believe that he needs help. So like if we ever talk about this situation again, I'm pretty sure we will, because I'm pretty sure more information is going to come out. I'll probably play more of this stuff, but at the end of the day, guys, I'm just in shocked what I've been hearing, what I've been reading, and it's just disturbing. That's all I can say. Very, very, very disturbing. And I hope the guy gets the help that he needs, man. That's it.
Yeah.
On that note, let's be done with the podcast. Nolan, thank you for watching. Ruben, thank you for watching. Whitney, thank you for watching. Let's see. Mama Pam, thank you for watching. Mino, thank you for watching. Rodolfi, thank you for watching. Ronald, my bad. Ronald, Ruben, thank you for watching. F, thank you for watching. Critical Drop, thank you for watching. Malta, thank you for watching. Joshua, thank you for watching.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we got some good people here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
everybody.
Yeah, I think we got everybody.
Did you get Mamino?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool.
But yeah, thank you, again, thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Victor Bain, Vortex Bain, for joining us. Thank you so much, bro.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Thank you for joining us. Seafring, any last words? And we got new people, so maybe you could ask them to follow you and things like that.
Yeah, by all means. You can see under my name right here is a Black Hood Crew. You can Google it or just type it into YouTube. That's the main channel. I'm on hiatus right now from streaming as I got personal stuff I'm working on. But once that is completed, I am coming back. I'm coming back with a force. You guys will see more of me more consistently. So yeah, by all means, like, follow, subscribe. I'm on literally every single YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, Steam, Trovo, TikTok, Instagram. Not Twitter anymore. It's called X now, but it's still Twitter. Damn it.
That's a stupid name.
I'm calling it Twitter.
I'm calling it Twitter too.
It's still Twitter. So From now on, my name will now be Vortex Bane, or V for short, and follow along, Black Hood Crew.
Yeah, I'll call you Bane for short. But so yeah, everyone, like, yeah, this was a long, podcast, but our apologies. We kind of started late, but I definitely appreciate that you all came here today to join us. I will start making little clips, from this podcast and the last podcast starting tonight before I go to sleep. So once again, please like.
I'll put the timestamps for
Yes, Nolan. Just
for
altogether
this
one word.
podcast and for this podcast and next podcast, I'll put the timestamps in. So so you do your thing and I'll do it.
Yeah, so Huvvi will put the timestamps on there. I will definitely make different videos. Again, I'm doing this for the fans. I completely understand that some of you don't like sports, some of you don't like video games, some of you like both. So because of that reason, I am going to separate each video so you guys could enjoy the videos that you actually want to watch. So with all that being said, this is the Traditionalist 101. I will see you guys Monday because I have a whole lot of crap to talk about Suicide Squad. A whole lot of crap to talk about that game. But with all that being said, stay tuned. This is the Traditionalist 101 signing out. Have a good one.
Huvvi 186. I'll see you guys later.